Shot and beautiful. Weisen.
It's time for high school sports right here on your home for local sports, the NCWLIFE Channel. Today's broadcast is brought to you by August Edge Real Estate, Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, Confluence Health, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, Doghouse Motorsports, Global Car Care, the Highlander Golf Course and Grill, JDSA Law, Laura Mounter Real Estate, Les Schwab Tires, One Way Construction, Pat Armstrong Ford Lincoln, Save Mart, Sangster Motors, Wenatchee Power Sports, Earthwise Pet, and Chelan Douglas Casa. And now let's get ready for high school sports. It starts now on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE Channel.
Jose Camarillo makes it 2.
It's a beautiful day for baseball, and we're happy to have you with us as Wenatchee takes on Eastmont here at Rec Park. Joel Norman with you on the NCWLIFE Channel. Well, thank you for tuning in for today's action. The first of 3 games between these two teams this week starts off here on this Tuesday, and then a doubleheader at Eastmont on Saturday. This is a series between the two teams which Wenatchee, quite frankly, has dominated. The Panthers have won 14 of the last 16 meetings between the two squads. The last time Eastmont won back on May 1st, 2018. But the Wildcats hoping to change that up today as they're off to a decent start to the year, 2-1. Wenatchee is 1-2. Wildcats are coming off of a doubleheader sweep this past weekend of the Brewster Bears back at home. In fact, this is actually Eastmont's first game not at home. Not that they had to travel too far, of course. The Wildcats have 3 of their next 4 and 5 of their final 10 games are all at Dan White Field. Lots of home cooking, but they did a great job this past weekend defeating Brewster 6-3 in Game 1 on Saturday, and then 6-1 in Game 2. Of course, they lost their first game of the season on April 13th, 10-7 against Moses Lake. Wenatchee started the year strong, a 13-7 win against Skyland. However, they dropped both games of a doubleheader this past Saturday against Moses Lake. They were both at home, but it was the first time Wenatchee had lost by 15 runs in over a decade, and they did it in back-to-back games on the same day. So Panthers trying to get to 500, and meanwhile the Wildcats looking to stay above 500 as it's Wenatchee against Eastmont this afternoon from Rec Park. First pitch is right around the corner. Stay tuned with us here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
Wenatchee Power Sports not only has a new owner, but an all-new attitude to match. Speaking of attitude, check out the 2021 models arriving now. Polaris snowmobiles, ATVs and side-by-sides. Yamaha motorcycles, watercraft ATVs and side-by-sides. KTM motorcycles and the latest edition Beta high-performance motorcycles. Coming this fall, a huge demo event featuring the latest and hottest off-road machines. It's all at the retuned Wenatchee Power Sports, where maximum performance is a way of life. 3031 GS Center Road in North Wenatchee, open Tuesday through Saturday.
At Earthwise Pet, we take an all-natural approach to wellness and nutrition. Our professional certified groomers were trained by the best in the Pacific Northwest. Our staff here at Earthwise Pet are all certified in pet nutrition. We are here to help you select the perfect food, supplement, and anything else you may need to make sure your pet is living its best and most healthy life. Earthwise Pet, Nutrition Center and Wellness Spa. Online or in the store, we are here for you.
And we welcome you back to Recreation Park as we get closer to first pitch between Wenatchee and Eastmont. Here in some varsity high school baseball action. What a beautiful day here in the Wenatchee Valley for some baseball. The first of 3 meetings on the season between these two squads, and they take place all in the same week. The doubleheader at Eastmont coming up this Saturday, which of course we'll have for you here on the NCWLIFE Channel. And of course this game here today at Wenatchee. Let's take a look at today's starting lineup, sponsored by Stevens Home Group, your local expert real estate advisors. Find them on Facebook at Stevens Home Group. We'll start things off with the visiting Eastmont Wildcats. They'll lead off with their shortstop, number 2, Austin Popoff. Batting second, the left fielder, number 4, Cooper Richards. The center fielder, Hunter Rule, wears number 9, and he will bat third. Lucas Banning is on the mound today, batting cleanup. He wears number 20. Number 11, Joe Murphy, is in right field, and he's batting fifth. Batting sixth and playing at third base is number 17, Michael Singleton. Batting seventh and catching, number 3, Logan Schneider. Batting eighth, wearing number 8 and playing first base is Sam Klinkenberg. And rounding out the lineup, number 6, Elijah Smiley, plays over at second base. For Wenatchee, they'll start things off with their shortstop, number 1, Tyler Skyland. Batting second, number 9, the center fielder, Dylan Kane. Luke Bayer, the catcher, bats third. He wears number 2. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, number 33, Jack Kovanen. Batting fifth and playing in right field, number 8, Preston Brownlee. Batting sixth and pitching today, number 10, Isaac England. Batting seventh and playing at second base, number 3, Joe Skyleman. Batting eighth, playing at third base and wearing number 17, Connor Christensen. And batting ninth and playing in left field, number 15, Chase Dixon. First pitch is coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned with us here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
Doghouse Motorsports just won Best Motorsports Store for the 7th year in a row. Is it the great facility? Is it the fantastic products? Or is it?
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Tabor.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Glenn.
Hi, I'm Todd.
I'm Jeff.
And this is the Doghouse Service Team.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Kathy.
Come on in and experience the Doghouse.
Are you in the Doghouse?
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition.
If you're like me, you're already dreaming about the summer, enjoying it with friends and family in the backyard. Don't get discouraged with the chilly breeze of spring just yet. There is still work to be done, and the warmer temperatures are just around the corner. If you've been thinking about when to get your backyard ready for summer, come on down to Blue Lagoon, now scheduling pool openings. Ask us why we think you should open your pool sooner rather than later. Call today. Scheduling is filling up fast.
We are moments away from first pitch here between Wenatchee and Eastmont here on the NCWLIFE Channel. Joel Norman with you. Happy to have you along for this one, as today's broadcast is being brought to you by Pat Armstrong Ford Lincoln, home of the lifetime warranty. At Pat Armstrong Ford Lincoln, customer satisfaction is number one. Stop on by today. It's Wenatchee against Eastmont this afternoon. Panthers are 1-2. Wildcats are 2-1. It's funny, you look at the run differential of the two teams, and it tells a much different story, though, than their similar records in a lot of ways. Eastmont has a run differential of 5. They have 19 runs scored, 14 runs given up. Wenatchee, meanwhile, negative 25. That's mostly because of the shellacking at the hands of Moses Lake this past Saturday. And Wenatchee has scored 18 runs, given up 43. They lost 20-5 to Moses Lake in Game 1 on Saturday, and then lost Game 2, 16-0. On the mound here today for Wenatchee, it's going to be Isaac England towing the rubber for them. Junior wears number 10, a right-handed pitcher. Looking at the defensive alignment for the Wenatchee Panthers here today, let's take a look all around the diamond. Out in left field here is Chase Dixon, left to right in the outfield. Chase Dixon in left field. Dylan Kane in center field. Preston Brownlee over in right. Around the horn, third base to first. At third, Connor Christensen. At short, it's Tyler Skyleman. Over at second base is Joe Skyleman. Over at first, Jack Kovanen. Behind the plate, Luke Bayer doing the catching for Isaac England. First pitch of the ball game to Austin Popoff is in there for a called strike, and we are underway here at Rec Park at 4:35 p.m. Pacific time. Lovely ball game. We are certainly expecting great weather overall today. Breaking ball's a little bit high from England. This is a Wenatchee team who's last year really looked like they would have a lot of seniors on their squad. Certainly a hope, but as not obviously no season last year. It didn't turn out as Popoff hits this one foul, right field side, out of play. Wenatchee last year, had they played, they would have had 11 seniors on the team, and head coach Jeff Zender had said to the Wenatchee World that he had never even had the opportunity to dress 9 seniors before. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch coming up. Right-hander England deals. This one is popped up. Right center field, moving back a little bit, and watching this go just over his head. It bounces toward the warning track. Brownlee gobbles it up, fires it over to the cutoff man, and in with a stand-up triple to deep right center field is Austin Popoff. What a way to start the ball game for him. Popoff gets us going with the triple. He had 2 hits over the weekend in the doubleheader against Brewster, and he's in there in scoring position immediately, 90 feet away from scoring. Now Cooper Richards will bat from the left side as the left fielder digs in against right-hander England. Isaac England deals and misses outside for ball 1. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa. Great service with a personal touch. That's their commitment to you. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa provides a different guidance. This one's hit up the middle, off of the glove of England, goes to second. Skyland flips over to first, and it is in time for the out. However, Popoff comes in to score. And just like that, it is 1-0 Eastmont, an RBI ground out that goes 4-3. So Richards drives in the run, and Eastmont leads 1-0 early on. Now Hunter Rule digs in, also batting from the left side. He takes outside for ball 1. England working pretty quickly on the mound, but he is down 1-0 in the ball game. Right-hander kicks and fires pitch number 2. This one swung on, hit toward left center field, looking into the gap. It will drop down for a base hit, and this will be extra bases. Rule is rounding second. He's looking for third base. Cutoff man hit, and once again, it's a stand-up triple, the second of the inning for Eastmont. First, it was Popoff who tripled, came in on a ground out, and now Rule triples to jump into scoring position immediately. Great start here for Eastmont. 1-0, the Wildcats lead, wearing their red jerseys. They do have the white pants on, despite being the home team. Wenatchee in the home whites with the purple hats. First pitch is swung on, hit past the glove of the third baseman Christensen. Lucas Banning helps himself out with an RBI single, and the throw in towards second gets past Skyland, but it's able to be gobbled up over at first by Covenant. So Lucas Banning, first pitch swinging, drives in Hunter Rule. So back-to-back pitches result in base hits, and the latter of which leads to a run. A tough first inning so far for the Panthers. This is the last thing head coach Jeff Zender wanted. As a courtesy runner will come on for Banning, the pitcher. Like the first pitch he saw, hit a high hopper over toward third, over the head of Christensen, and into left field for a base hit. 2-0 Eastmont, still with 1 out in the first inning. They've got 3 hits so far. England from the stretch for the first time today deals a strike to Murphy. Not the first time that England has had to pitch with a runner on, but both times before this, they were over at third base. Swing and a miss. That makes it 0-2 now. Looking to get that second out of the inning. Scoring recap so far. We're still in the top of the first. Leadoff batter Popoff tripled. Came in on a ground out from the next batter, Richards. Rule tripled and then came in on a single by Banning. Off speed, England looking for that outside corner. Can't quite get it. Ball 1. It's 1-2 now. England, the junior, steps back up onto the rubber. Like I said, working quick. Looks over his shoulder at third. Not much of a lead. The runner does take off. It's a hit and run. It's swung on, hit out toward left center. This one is going to be over the attempted catch of Dixon. He'll field it off a couple bounces, and the courtesy runner for Banning will come in to score easily. It's an RBI double for Joe Murphy, and he stretches the Eastmont lead to 3-0. What a great first inning so far for the Wildcats, and it might not be done yet. They're on to their 5th batter of the inning now. 3 runs so far on 4 hits. 3 of those 4 hits, extra base hits. So a tough go so far for Isaac England. He's still out there right now. You look at the Wenatchee roster. 14 players on it. You have 9 on the field at a time. It's hard to get a guy really warmed up, especially if it's a guy who's in the ball game. Conference on the mound right now. Good chance to go back to one of our sponsors I mentioned. Today's broadcast being brought to you by Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa. Great service with a personal touch. That's their commitment to you. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa provides a different kind of full-service care that gives their clients peace of mind. Visit their showroom today. 3-0 so far. Eastmont with the lead over Wenatchee. We're still here in the top of the 1st inning from Rec Park. Wildcats have jumped out pretty quick here and are looking to improve to 3-1 on the season if they can get the win here today. Runner at second base after the RBI double. England deals off speed. It's in there for a strike. Michael Singleton, the third baseman, steps up to the dish now. Joe Murphy leads off of second base. No one holding him there. This one is swung on. Popped up, foul. It's going to make its way into the seating area. Sparse crowd on hand here today. Everyone's spacing out a little bit in the stands. Three extra base hits in the inning have led to 3 runs. 4 hits so far for Eastmont. There's the pitch to Singleton. Swung on, and that is at fair foul, just barely foul. Keeps the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Logan Schneider, the catcher, on deck. He would be the 7th batter of the inning. All but one of the first 5 batters has reached base, and even when it was an out, it was a successful one. 1-2 pitch is swung on, lofted into left field. That'll jump in for a base hit. And that'll put runners at first and third now as Singleton continues the inning with a soft fly ball into left field that drops in. That's the first base hit that hasn't resulted in a run among the last 3 batters. The previous one was Hunter Rule, who tripled with the bases empty after 1 run was already in. Now Logan Schneider steps up to the plate. 7th batter of the inning. Runners at first and third for Eastmont as they lead Wenatchee 3-0 here in the top of the 1st. Isaac England, the junior, in a little bit of trouble. Deals from the stretch. First pitch is swung on. That's popped up into left center field. And they'll play on it. It'll drop down in front. Fielded by Kane. Flips to the cutoff man. 1 run is in. That'll put runners at first and third after an RBI single by Logan Schneider scores a run and continues this long inning for Eastmont. 4 runs in. 6 hits on the inning as well. Back-to-back singles have the Wildcats in business here. That is now 5 straight hitters to reach base via a base hit. Time called on the field, it looks like. Looks like a courtesy runner will come on for Schneider. As the backstop heads back to the dugout, it'll be greeted with a couple high fives after driving in 4th run of the ball game. First and third now for Eastmont. England deals to Sam Klinkenberg, and he swings first pitch, fouls it into the Wenatchee dugout. For comparison, Eastmont on the season, their season high is 7 runs scored. That was in a loss to Moses Lake a week ago today. They scored 6 runs in both of their games against Brewster in the doubleheader this past weekend. 0-1. That's low. 1-1 the count. 4-0 Eastmont leads Wenatchee. They have runners at first and third with just 1 out still here in the top of the 1st inning. It's been the ideal start for the Eastmont Wildcats. Head coach Darren Hoff has to enjoy the way things have begun. England checks the runner over at first. Small lead. He'll come home. Runner takes off. no throw, as it'll be a stolen base for the courtesy runner for Logan Schneider. Klinkenberg in a 2-1 count now, as he bats with runners at second and third. Infield will move in. They'll be even with the baselines. Hoping for a play at the plate. The 2-1 pitch. Fouled away, right side, out of play, past the seating area. It bounces, it takes a high hopper in the parking lot. 2-2 the count. Infield in again with runners at second and third. Isaac England comes home. Did he check his swing? He was not able to. It's going to be strike 3. So that's the second out of the inning, as Klinkenberg offered but could not hold up his swing. He thought he did. And that'll be out number 2. 2 outs in the inning. First strikeout of the ball game for Isaac England, as he now faces the 9th batter of the inning. And batting 9th, the second baseman Elijah Smiley steps up to the dish now. England taking his time. 2 outs. Infield is back now. Swung on, hit up the middle, past the diving attempt of Skyland. That'll score 1, maybe 2. It will. Ball is bobbled in center field. Both runners will score. Singleton and the courtesy runner for Schneider come around on the RBI single by Elijah Smiley. And Eastmont bats around here in the first inning as they play 2 more runs to make it 6-0. That's a big knock for Smiley. 2 outs in the inning. Wenatchee was thinking they would only go in to the bottom of the first with a 4-run deficit. And looked like that would be maybe a chance at another inning for Isaac England, but I believe he's going to come out here after facing 9 batters. Kovinen is running in from first base. It looks like he's going to switch up his glove, as we'll see what kind of personnel changes Wenatchee makes here. They might just be bringing Kovinen onto the mound now. We'll take a quick look to see what happens here. But as it stands right now, England gets 2 outs, faces 9 hitters, and allows 7 of them to collect base hits. And that's exactly the case here. Running in from left field now, looks like it's going to be Brownlee coming in. We'll see where he heads up at. So it will be Kovinen heading to the mound. We take a look. Kovenen's getting his warm-up pitches in right now. Today's broadcast being brought to you by Chelan Douglas Casa, court-appointed special advocates for children. Also by Highlander Golf Course and Grill. Enjoy your day at Highlander Golf Course. Reserve your next tee time or plan a party in one of our simulator rooms. You don't have to be a member to dine in style. Give them a call today. So 6 runs come across so far against Isaac England. Smiley over at first is still on his line. As now Jack Kovinen, the senior, will toe the rubber for Wenatchee. Look to put out the fire. Just a dynamite start so far in today's ball game by Eastmont. 6 runs have come across so far. They can get Smiley in. That'll be 7. Wenatchee still yet to hit today as we're in the top of the first inning. Back-to-back right-handers to start the day on the rubber for the Panthers. As I mentioned, 7 hits given up by Isaac England, 6 runs across so far. Of those 7 hits, each of the first two among 2 of the first 3 batters were triples. He would give up another extra base hit to Joe Murphy, the rest singles. First pitch from Kovinen, breaking balls in there for a strike. Austin Popoff started this ball game with the leadoff triple. He bats for the second time this inning. Next pitch to him is a little low and away, but a good block by Byer. Makes it 1-1. Popoff tripled and came around to score on the RBI ground out by Cooper Richards. It was hit over towards second base. Wenatchee took the out at first. Outside from Kovinen to make it 2-1. Good Wenatchee took that out because they would not get another one after allowing 5 straight base hits before getting a strikeout. That was the last out that Isaac England would record. 2-1 offering is also outside. Jack Kovinen trying to get a chase from Popoff, batting on the right side. Popoff had a nice day on the mound the other day in Game 1 against Brewster this past Saturday. 6 shutout innings and struck out 12 to lead the Wildcats to victory. Getting it done as the leadoff hitter today. High chopper over toward third. That's going to go foul. Full count now. So hustle back to the home plate after getting down the line pretty quickly. Six runs across so far for Eastmont. Runner at first base is Elijah Smiley. He's the only batter who's driven in multiple runs in an at-bat. He batted with runners at second and third, drove them both in with a soft single. Payoff pitch. Going to be in there for called strike 3. Popoff goes down looking, but not before Eastmont scores 6 runs on 7 hits. They take a 6-0 lead into the bottom of the first. We'll be back in a moment here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you're calling on 35-plus years of experience in the Wenatchee Valley. Spending extra time in your home, you may have discovered an unwanted aroma. Stinky feet, pets, who knows what. Call Dick's today about installing their Train Clean Effects electronic air cleaner or a Rheem Halo ultraviolet air purifier. Either way, the air quality in your home will be improved. Proudly servicing all of North Central Washington, call 884-6444 today.
Come on, I'm a certified technician. I was trained to take good care of you.
9. I've only been to the dealer.
I've been coming here for years. These guys are great.
Look around. The BMW, the Jag, the Volvo, they're all waiting for regular service. Well, the BMW has a little computer issue, but that's nothing we can't handle. Come on in.
From regular maintenance to computer troubleshooting, trust the Global Car Care technicians with your import, diesel-powered, or domestic vehicle. Global Car Care. They speak your car's language.
Dankeschön.
Well, Lucas Banning just had the pitcher's dream with his team, and he helped him. Scores 6 runs in the top of the first inning to give him an early cushion before he even toes the rubber here today, as the right-hander Banning will face the Wenatchee order that goes as follows. Leading off, the shortstop, Tyler Skyland. Dylan Kane, the center fielder, bats second. Luke Byer is the catcher, batting third. Jack Kovinen started at first base. He's pitching right now. He bats cleanup. Preston Brownlee is in right field, batting fifth. Isaac England, who no longer the pitcher, started as the pitcher, batting sixth. Joe Skyleman is the second baseman, batting seventh. Connor Christensen, the third baseman, bats eighth. And Chase Dixon is in left field and batting ninth. So Tyler Skyleman gets things started for Wenatchee. Early in the season, he has got a .571 batting average, 4 hits and 7 at-bats entering today. Bats on the right side against Banning. First pitch swinging, can't get it. Swings and misses. I mentioned Banning helping his own cause in that top of the first inning as he first pitch swinging, singled to left field on a 3-hopper that made it just over the glove of Christensen. Went into left field for a base hit. That scored the second run of the inning. He would, of course, come around to score himself later. 1-1 offering, just barely fouled away. Six to nothing as Wenatchee's getting their first hacks of the ball game to start here in this bottom of the first. Almost a half hour for that first inning of play. The top of the first, I should say. This one is outside. 2-2 the count. Dylan Kane in center field. He's on deck. He'll be up in just a moment. Skyland trying to help Wenatchee chip into this deficit. Got to take it 1 run at a time. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Banning punches him out for the first out of this top of the first inning. And before Kane steps in, we remind you today's broadcast is being brought to you by Doghouse Motorsports, now featuring the full line of on- and off-road Husqvarna Motorcycles. Kane steps in. He's in center field here today. And he was busy in the first inning. Couple triples, a double as well. First pitch swinging, singles up the middle for a base hit as the Panthers have their first base runner of the day. I'll bring up Luke Byer to the plate with one out and one on at first base. Eastmont scored 6 runs in both of the games against Brewster in the doubleheader that they swept this past Saturday. Season high is 7 runs, and you would think they would be on pace to top that total here today. Banning from the stretch misses inside for ball 1. Luke Byer, the catcher, batting from the left side, up at the plate. Middle infielders are in double play depth. Second offering, big cut and a miss. Makes it 1 ball, 1 strike. Klinkenberg, the first baseman, holding on the runner Kane. As Byers at the plate, Kovinen, the pitcher, on deck. There's the offering from Banning, off speed. Byer looking to hit that one past the apple bowl, but cuts on it and misses. It's 1-2 now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, runner at first. 1 out in the bottom of the first with Wenatchee trailing 6-0. Runner fakes taking off as Byer fouls this away. Keeps the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Final line on Isaac England. 2/3 of an inning. 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned. 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Small lead off of first for Kane. Here's Banning's 1-2 offering, and that is outside for ball 2. Kane will again take a slight lead off of first. Byer from the left side against the right-hander Banning. The 2-2 in the dirt. That's ball 3. Good job by Kane to work the count. Started down at 1-2, and now he's up to a full count, 3-2. With the payoff pitch coming in a moment here. Kovinen on deck, and then Brownlee after him should the inning continue. Swung on, hit over towards second base side. Gobbled up by Smiley. Flips to short for 1, on to first, in time for the inning-ending double play. Smiley to pop off to Klinkenberg for the twin killer. And Wenatchee puts 1 on, but he's sent back to the dugout after a double play. We go to the second in just a moment. It's Eastmont leading Wenatchee 6-0, and you're watching live on the NCWLIFE Channel.
Hi, I'm Shauna Larson. I'm the designated broker here at Laura Mounter Real Estate. We are a locally owned firm, and we've worked hard to earn our reputation of always doing business the right way. Laura Mounter Real Estate is continually investing in the best technologies and highest quality marketing. For these reasons, our community has voted us the world's best real estate office for the past 5 years. If you have real estate needs, let a Laura Mounter Real Estate agent show you the difference.
Take on the new year in a new Ford from Pat Armstrong Ford. From premium grade muscle to unparalleled performance. Take on any payload. The all-new 2021 Ford F-150 at Pat Armstrong Ford. Take on any adventure. Take on every thrill. The all-new 2021 Bronco Sport and 2021 Mustang Mach-E. Built to take on every resolution at Pat Armstrong Ford. We are community strong in East Wenatchee.
We're back here at Rec Park and on to the second inning as Wenatchee trails Eastmont by a score of 6-0. Joel Norman with you. Thanks for tuning in. And we thank everyone, of course, checking us out on our Facebook Live. Happy to have you following along. Quick start for Eastmont as they jumped out to a big start with 6 runs on 7 hits. Only stranded 1 man in the top of the first. Looked like Wenatchee might have had something cooking. They put the second runner on with 1 out, but a tailor-made double play just about ended the inning. Now Isaac England pitching without anyone on base for the first time today. Oh, beg your pardon, I should say Jack Kovinen pitching. Deals inside for ball 1. Cooper Richards up for his second at-bat of the day. He'll take insides once more for ball 2. Update you on the changes. Covenant, who started the game over at first base, moved to the mound, of course, as his 2-0 offering. That's outside as well for ball 3. Joe Skyland moved from second base to right field. Isaac England, who was pitching, now over at second base. The 3-0 inside for ball 4. Cooper Richards didn't have to move the bat at all, and he trots over to first base with a leadoff walk. 6-0, Eastmont with the lead. Hunter Rule helped get the second run across by tripling with 1 out, no one on. He would come around to score a batter later with a single to left field. Rule comes up swinging and fouls it away. 0-1 the count. Game 2 against Brewster this past Saturday. Rule was 1 for 3 with 1 run, drove in 2 runs, and also drew a walk in that 6-1 win over Brewster. Covenant checks the runner at first. Deals a soft ground ball hit over towards second. England tags the runner but doesn't have time to flip over to first. Good job by Richards to avoid that tag for as long as possible to give Rule second life. So that'll go down as a fielder's choice for unassisted. So that puts Rule on base, but Richards doing a nice job to prevent that being a double play. So 1 out in the inning, runner still over at first base. Covenant facing his 4th batter of the ball game. And first pitch swinging, a foul ball hit down the first base side. Might be playable. Yes, it is. Looks like that was snagged by Preston Brownlee. Moving from right field to first base and catches the foul fly out hit by Lucas Banning. 2 outs in the inning now for Wenatchee as Eastmont looks to continue the inning. They sent 10 men to the plate in the top of the first. 3 up so far with a runner over at first base and 2 outs. Joe Murphy digs in from the left side. He's in right field. Doubled in a run in the first inning. He takes outside for ball 1. Today is Eastmont's first game not being played at Dan White Field this season, and looking pretty comfortable, not too far from home. Second offering way outside, but a nice job by Byer to keep that from going to the backstop. Not that the backstop is too far away here at Rec Park, but got to figure that Rule would have tried to go off and running if he could. 2-0 count to the left-handed hitting Murphy. Takes inside for ball 3. Jack Covenant walked Richards to lead off the inning on 4 pitches. And he's in danger of doing the same here to Murphy. Runner off of first is Rule. He reached on a fielder's choice. This one way inside for ball 4. Second walk of the inning and of the ball game for Covenant. That puts runners at first and second now for Eastmont. England did not walk any of the 10 batters that he faced. Did give up hits to 7 of them. Struck out 1 batter. Got 2 outs and gave up 6 runs all earned. Covenant has walked 2 of the 5 hitters that he's faced. Misses on the first offering now to Singleton. Singleton scored in the first inning. First and second for the Wildcats as they bat in the top of the second. High for ball 2. Covenant's taking a little bit more time in between pitches. England was a little quicker, and you wonder if maybe just because of the hole he was in early on, he was trying to go quicker to change things up a bit. And Covenant gets a strike on the inside edge. 2-1 the count. Runners off of first and second for the Wildcats. Over at first, Murphy, Rule at second. Michael Singleton, the third baseman at the plate, and he takes up and in for ball 3. It's 3-1. Wenatchee will have Covenant, Brownlee, and England due up. Players who start, all three of them started at one position, ended up at another. Ball 4. So it's a 5-pitch walk to Singleton, his third of the inning. As he's walked back-to-back hitters now to load up the bases. Covenant still has not given up a base hit among the 6 batters that he's faced, but these free passes really hurting him. And he's loaded the bases up with 2 outs here in the top of the second inning, and a golden opportunity for Eastmont to really put this game away in a lot of ways. They can take that 10-run lead and carry that to the 5th. Jack Covenant, the right-handed senior for the Panthers, kicks and delivers. The first pitch is a called strike to Logan Schneider. Backstop singled, and his courtesy runner scored a run. Also stole a base back in the first. Breaking ball's in there for a strike. 0-2 now. Covenant looking for his second punch-out of the ball game. He got a strikeout to end the top of the first, punching out the 10th hitter of the inning, Popoff. Back up on the mound, steps to the side, kicks high and delivers. Did he check his swing? Looks like he could not. Strike 3, a punch-out to end the inning. A bases-loaded threat, but none come across. Nice work by Covenant, pitching in and out of trouble, as Eastmont takes a 6-0 lead into the bottom of the second inning. Back in a moment here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
To achieve greatness once, it's not the end of the journey. It is only the beginning. Introducing the next all-electric super truck. The revolutionary GMC Hummer EV SUV. Reserve one now while they last.
This afternoon's broadcast on the NCWLIFE Channel is being brought to you by Sangster Motors. The American Challenge is on at Sangster Motors, home of the all-new Yukon SUV. Joe Norman with you from Recreation Park, as it's Eastmont so far holding a 6-0 lead over Wenatchee. A great start with all 6 of those runs coming in the top of the first inning. And Lucas Banning has been able to pitch, I'd say, relatively stress-free. Of course, you've still got to keep a strong mindset moving forward, but a great start for Banning and the Wildcats, and he certainly helped his own cause, getting a RBI single and eventually scoring a run in that first inning. And he was able to pitch out of maybe potential trouble in the bottom of the first inning, gave up a single with 1 out, then induced a ground ball for a 4-6-3 twin killer to end the inning. So it'll be Covenant, Brownlee, and England coming up for the Panthers. I mentioned it earlier, all 3 of these players started the ball game at one position and then moved to another one. That's going to be the case if the 4th man due up would also bat. As the first pitch is swung on and missed by Covenant, the pitcher started over at first base and has tossed an inning in the 3rd so far. Banning deals the 0-1, a little bit outside. One and 1 the count. He's back up on the rubber. Righty versus righty matchup. That's in there for a called strike, makes it 1-2. Wenatchee's got to get the offense going. You look at how they did against Moses Lake this past weekend. Of course, game 1, they got 5 runs. This pitch is swung on, hit over third base side. Tough play, long throw over. Is it scooped up? It is. Great job, Singleton to Klinkenberg for the out to retire Covington for out number 1. The Panthers certainly, like I said, they got to get these bats going. You score 5 runs in game 1 against Moses Lake. Not bad, but you gave up 20. Game 2, they were shut out. They were held to just 4 hits and struck out 8 times in game 2 against Moses Lake this past Saturday. 1 hit so far, but of course it was erased on a double play ball. First pitch misses to Preston Brownlee, the first baseman. Banning facing his 5th hitter of the ball game. He's only allowed 1 to reach base. High chopper over toward third. It's going to be bobbled, and that'll be a base hit. Singleton can't hang on to it. So that should go down as an error, as Brownlee will reach base. Isaac England steps in now. Started the game on the mound, pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 6 runs on 7 hits, moved over to second base. Brownlee off of first. Tried to put down a bunt, would not go. Popped through over to first, not in time. Joe Skyland on deck, the right fielder. Looks over to third base for the Signals. Third base coach is also his head coach, Jeff Zender. Banning from the stretch, deals a strike, and that's 0-2 now. England batting from the right side. Showed bunt on the first offering, couldn't connect on it, and is now down to the count 0-2. His time called for a moment. Looks like the runner over at first, Brownlee, needs to tie his shoe. He reached on an error on a ball hit over toward third. Might be able to argue it was a single. Tough play for Singleton, but he bobbled the baseball. Runner on first with 1 out for Wenatchee. Manning took a quick look over his shoulder, now comes home. Deals off speed, it misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Isaac England with Joe Skyleman on deck. Following today's game, Wenatchee will go on the road for each of its next 3 games. Granted, 2 of them over at Eastmont. Pitch inside makes it 2-2. 2 at Eastmont this coming Saturday, and then they're at Brewster a week from today. Panthers 1-2 on the season so far. They trail 6-0 here in the bottom of the second. The 2-2 offering, a little bit high. That'll push the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Isaac England with Preston Brownlee over at first after reaching on a 1-out error. Wenatchee trying to get a runner into scoring position or better for the first time today. Swung on, hit over toward third. Singleton to second. It can't be handled. It'll go down as an error to put runners at first and second. So back-to-back batters reach base. Could pick and choose the error on that one. Throw might have been a little offline from Singleton. So that'll put runners at first and second. So Wenatchee has reached via more errors than base hits so far. 2 E5s going against third baseman Singleton as now Joe Skyleman steps up. Long look at all the signals as Eric Granstrom joins me now. Eric, a great start for Eastmont so far, certainly.
Yeah, 6th spot in the first inning there. I think what Coach Jeff Zender was coming out on that play is to ask that there was player interference on his runner at second base as he tried to advance after the throw went into shallow right center field. The defender there was standing in the way of the base runner, and he couldn't advance.
The question is always is it
on purpose or...
or hopefully not. But I wonder with the defender a lot of times, I say, is it better to stay in place or is it better to get out of the way sometimes?
Yeah.
That's the question with a batter when a catcher.
Well, you don't want to allow a free base no matter what.
Absolutely.
But was it player interference there that did not allow the runner to advance from second to third on the play?
I doubt we'll see anything change here. But
yeah, I think that's what Coach Zender was also appealing to the home plate umpire, saying, hey, did anybody – obviously the base umpire didn't see it. Did you see it? and negative on both, and so we play on.
We'll go to the instant replay 10 years from now. Runners at first and second with one out. Joe Skyland up to the plate. Eastmont would love a ground ball here, but they've had ground balls each of the last two batters and haven't been able to turn them into outs. Ball one.
Well, at least Wenatchee finally has something positively working in their favor right now.
Yeah, it looked like they might have had something in the first inning, but of course the double play ball ended that. Here's a hot shot over towards short. This might be two. Flip to second. Bobble. Throw to first. Is it in time? It is.
Wow.
What a big double play there. Pop off to Smiley to Klinkenberg. Back-to-back innings end with a double play. We'll be back in a moment. Eastmont leads Wenatchee 6-0 as you're watching the NCWLIFE Channel.
Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their two new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
Make being home fun again. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa has just what you need to bring fun back into your backyard. We have a wide selection of artesian spas and swim spas, new and used to choose from. We are happy to announce we are now selling Rainbow Kids play structures with 50 models to choose from. To help finish off your entertainment area, we have patio furniture and Komodo Joe grills. At Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, we have just what you need to bring family fun and entertainment to your backyard. Stop by today.
Back here at Rec Park as we get set for inning number 3. It's Eastmont leading Wenatchee 6-0. Joel Norman alongside Eric Granstrom. And the view you see right now on your television or on your computer is the same view we have, Eric. This is a unique perch.
Yes.
I'm actually growing to really like
Joel
this.
thought I was joking with him as he was setting up in the lovely confines behind home plate. I said, Joel, actually, you're going to be out there in center field. No, you're kidding, right? No, I'm not.
Ball one to Klinkenberg. You know, I could have understood if you were going to pull my leg there and say, hey, go ahead, Joel, go call from the parking lot, too. But, I'm really liking this. It's a neat view of the strike zone I don't usually get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can actually see the strike zone a lot better here than you can from behind home plate because you're guessing a lot of times on where that catcher's glove actually is. Here, almost like home when you watch the games, Mariners or whatever team you like to watch, that center field camera is about the best view you have of that.
2-0 offering from Kovanen. Also outside for ball 3. He's got 3 walks. All of them were last inning so far. Eastmont putting up a 6 spot in the first inning. That's the difference in the game so far. 3-0 offering coming in a moment to Sam Klinkenberg. That's right down Main Street for a strike. Klinkenberg has been on the receiving end of a couple big double play balls for Lucas Banning so far, Eric.
Yeah, pitcher's best friend, right?
Absolutely.
Eastmont trying to dial up something they haven't done in quite a while. What is it, 5 in a row that Wenatchee has defeated Eastmont in this series as that pitch clunks off the catcher and heads back towards the backstop and a free pass to the leadoff man. You never like to see that if you're the defending coach, Jeff Zender in this case.
Yeah, a couple pitches low for Kovanen there. You're right, though. Eastmont has lost each of the last 5 games in the series. The last win was on May 1st, 2018. Wenatchee has won 14 of the last 16. But you look at this Eastmont squad, a lot of familiar faces from a couple years ago.
Yep.
I think that's what's really helping them out so far this season.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But put down, third base side, Kovanen, bare hands, sidearm over to first is in time as the sacrifice bunt moves Klinkenberg into scoring position.
That's a heck of a play by that pitcher to range to his right, get down on a knee, barehand the ball, spin, and throw over to first base, and a strike over there. A nice play to get the out at first, and a pretty good bunt to lay down to sacrifice the runner over to second base.
You don't see a ton of sac bunts anymore the higher up you go, but they're still really useful at this high school level.
I love small ball.
I think the best thing about them at this level is there's a ball to Austin Popoff, third at bat already of the day. you just put the ball in play sometimes the younger you get.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best thing you can do. Let the fielders try and get the out.
Yeah, I coached girls softball forever, and I said, ladies, just put the ball in play. Make them make the out.
That's a great way to put it.
Because there's a lot of times it doesn't happen.
2-0 now the count to Popoff. He's tripled and struck out today. It's such a simple thing that I think, if you're a more advanced fan of the game, you'd say, what do you mean? Just put it in play. The defense will make it out of that. But, the lower down you get, the more likely they won't make it out. 2-0 to Popoff. The shortstop swings, hits it over, just foul, third base side.
Austin Popoff, one of those players who was an all-league tailback for the Eastmont Wildcats in football and chose to sit out this truncated season with COVID and everything because he's got a chance to play baseball at the next level. So he's really focusing in on baseball.
Heck of a running back, too. I know Eastmont missed having him out there, but, and you hate to see guys specialize, but this was the right year to do that in a lot of ways. This one way inside. 2-1 the count. This is the right year to maybe just focus in on that one sport. And seems like the right call so far. He did a really nice job this past weekend against Brewster. 6 shutout innings. Pick up the win for both of those games. 2-1 the count to him. Runner at second base. That's Klinkenberg after the leadoff walk. He was sacrificed over. Popoff skies this one into shallow center field. Moving back is the shortstop, Skyland. He'll make the catch. There's 2 away here in the top of the third.
Sometimes on a cloudless sky like this today, that's a tough play because that ball can suddenly just vaporize.
If this was earlier in the day, if the sun was a little bit more over that way too, you're absolutely right. That's the worst thing you want. And I'm looking at the Wenatchee defenders. All of them have their sunglasses up. So that shows you where the sun's at this point in the day, though. Runner at second, 2 outs, swung on and fouled away. Looked like by Richards. Might have gotten a piece of that, just barely.
He was way out in front of that pitch. By the way, Joel, welcome back.
Thank you, Eric. It's good to be back. It feels right to be calling baseball again.
I felt like I should have been on the front end of this broadcast welcoming you back. But, officially welcome. Joel, of course, the voice of the Wenatchee Apple Sox for a few years here in the Wenatchee Valley. But got a chance to fly and be that bird and head to the next level. Unfortunately, COVID hit, and there you go.
But it's great to be back. We were talking about this earlier. It's the last year has given us all a great chance to reflect, and it's nice to be back a place. I wanted to be here. If I couldn't go where I expected to go in Virginia, it's really nice to be back here. 1-1 the count right now to Richards, but I'm hoping I'm not too rusty. That's the biggest thing I said to you today.
And when Joel reached out to me and said, hey, I'm coming back to town, any chance that you can get me some games? I said, absolutely. That's less games I have to do. So, I'm all for that. And love to have you back. Love to have your voice back on the NCWLIFE Channel.
We're looking forward to having Apple Sox games on the NCWLIFE Channel,
absolutely.
Too. We'll have more details on that, of course, soon. But it's nice to have – it's that time of the year. As weird as it was having football in the spring, it's nice to have baseball back when it belongs.
Absolutely.
2-1 hit over to second, bobbled for a moment by England. The throw to first is late. England bobbles it, and that puts runners at first and third for Eastmont.
And what were we just talking about, Joel? Make the defense make the play, and sometimes, even if it's right at them, they'll maybe have a little hiccup. And that was the case there for the Panthers second baseman. And runners to the corners here for Eastmont, threatening again in a 6-0 ball game.
Yeah, an error there on England puts runners at the corners with 2 outs. It looked like Wenatchee had a chance to get out of the inning unscathed once again, but now they might be in a predicament. Pitches low to Hunter Rule. 1 for 2 today, but he's reached base both times. A triple and a fielder's choice. And boy, that could be costly. It's already 6-0. We'll see what Eastmont can do here, though. They scored 2 runs with 2 outs in the first inning. This is outside. Both of those coming on the one hit. It was a single by Elijah Smiley. He had runners at second and third. If this is extra bases at all for Rule, it's going to score both easily. Runners at the corners, 2 outs, swung on, and that'll get down for a base hit in right field. It'll score 1 run, a single by Hunter Rule, his first run driven in of the day. Richards stays put at second after reaching on the error, and Klinkenberg scores, and it's 7-0 Eastmont. Might be flipping the script in this rivalry, Eric.
It could be. I mean, obviously there's still innings to be played here, but you creep up ever closer to that 10-run rule, and that could shorten an already short game here today.
We're in the third. Runners at first and second, and the Wildcats leading 7-0. Breaking ball from Covenant misses. First run of the day allowed by Covenant. He's gone 2 innings exactly so far. If he completes this one, he'll go 2 1/3.
Well, and Eastmont showing it can certainly generate some offense with 2 outs.
Yes, they can. It's the 3rd run scored with 2 outs today. Still has a chance here. Hit over to third. High hopper. Taken to the bag by Christensen, and the fielder's choice will end the inning. Not before the Wildcats tack on another. They now lead 7-0 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Back in a moment here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
Save Mart is the place to go if you are in the market for home furnishings. They have rows and rows of sofas, love seats, recliners, and chairs in a vast array of fabrics and colors. Name brands include Ashley, Best, and Stanton. With pictures, lamps, and tables to complement your new furniture, Save Mart is a one-stop shop. Save Mart offers 12-month special financing on approval of credit. Save Mart also offers free delivery, setup, and haul away in their service area. Serving the Wenatchee Valley for over 50 years. Located on North Wenatchee Avenue, or visit online at savemart.net.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
During the Les Schwab Spring Tire Sale, save up to $200 when you bundle select tires, wheels, and brakes. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Today's broadcast on the NCWLIFE Channel being brought to you by Wenatchee Power Sports, now featuring Polaris, Yamaha, KTM, and Beta Sales Parts and Service. Joel Norman alongside Eric Granstrom. It is 7-0 with Eastmont leading Wenatchee as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. Lucas Banning with a lot of run support heads back out there. Got to give Lucas a shout-out. He's actually going to be the head of the guest services for the Apple Sox this summer.
Okay.
Yeah, so
all right.
a dual threat, I guess, in baseball.
So we were just talking off the air about the Canadian teams choosing to opt out of the 2021 season for the West Coast League, and of course it makes sense. Border's still not open, and doesn't look like it's going to open anytime soon. And you have so few teams up there; it'd be kind of old after a while to play against each other all the time.
Yeah, I think so, and I just think things didn't work out for them with their arrangements for traveling as well. It's unfortunate. 5 teams up there now, believe it or not. We start this bottom of the 3rd inning. Banning deals. It's a little bit high for ball 1.
Well, and also, as you well know, a lot of those teams in Canada are made up from players in the United States. So you probably couldn't even field necessarily the roster you'd hope for.
Ball is fouled away. Looks like it went foul, then made its way into fair territory.
I think it hit his foot.
Connor Christensen up right now in a 1-1 count. Yeah, I think that's a fair point, Eric. It's unfortunate. The West Coast League added 3 more teams. I lost track over the past year and a half plus now. They had 3 more teams, all in Canada. It was exciting. Right. It would have been a great year for them all to debut, but it just didn't work out.
Then we lost Yakima. They closed down. Who else did we lose here in the States? I'm trying to think now. There was a shift down in Oregon as well. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer, although we're looking for a full slate of games for the Wenatchee Apple Sox. So
absolutely.
We're all excited about that.
Starts up June 1st. Strike down low to Christensen. Trying to get things started here for Wenatchee. Looked like the umpire was ready to ring him up on that last one. Now he will. It's swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. They won't even have to throw him out. They throw it around the field. It was weird. He was taken off to first. I don't know if he might have gotten tagged along the way.
He did.
He did, just barely.
The catcher reached out and
couldn't quite
tagged the back of his jersey.
I left the binoculars at home today.
Well, you didn't expect to be this far away from home plate.
I'll be ready next time. I will be ready.
But I will say, okay, so from Rec Park, you look out and you see Saddle Rock, in the distance, and lovely view. But looking back this way, I mean, you've got the whole Sunny Slope area that you're looking at.
It's a little more picturesque, as this will be a single up the middle for Chase Dixon. Just the second hit of the ball game for Wenatchee as he's aboard with 1 out. It's a little more panoramic, so to speak.
Yes.
I think this way, if you're allowed to say it that way.
Yeah, and because you're on the second story of a press box here,
Yeah.
which actually we're probably 3-4 stories up on top of the bleachers here at Leibofto Field of the Apple Bowl.
It's pretty cool, though. Runner off of first, back to the top of the order. Tyler Skyland takes ball 1.
In your days with the Apple Sox, did you ever broadcast a game down, I'm trying to remember the field now, in Yakima? Were you actually sitting on the dugout?
Let's see. No, that was Yakima County Stadium. That's over at State Fair
you
Park.
got to go to the nice one.
Yeah.
This is where the Davis Pirates play.
Okay.
High school, but that's where the Apple Sox played. It was prior to the Pippins and non-league game for
the Paladin Knights, right?
Yes, that's
what
right.
It was.
That's right. And you were on top of the third base dugout.
Did they play at Parker Fowler Field?
Yes.
Is that where they played?
Yep.
It looks like a hit-by pitch is going to put runners at first and second now for Wenatchee as Skyleman was clipped on the shoulder there.
And I thought in that location, boy, a foul ball could come right at me here. And sure enough, a foul ball came right at me. I ducked, came through the window, and absolutely lodged into the wall behind me. That was a souvenir I kept.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Of course, that's in the back in the day when Jim Corcoran was the owner of the Apple Sox, and he sent the team laptop with me, so I not only kept score for me, but I kept score for the league and the team at the time, and that ball came just inches from taking that laptop out.
That could have been extremely costly.
Yes.
Just for a souvenir.
Yeah.
First and second for the Panthers. They trail 7-0. 1-1 the count, or a swing and a miss by Dylan Kane. He got the first hit of the day for Wenatchee, a 1-out single, but was erased on a double play ball. First time today, Wenatchee has runners in scoring position. Dixon off of second and Skyleman at first. Banning checks second. Hesitates, now comes home. And he deals, it looks like a strike there. It's been a couple times where the umpire steps back behind the catcher and I can't see the call. And it's funny, though.
Well, and you can't hear him.
Can't hear him. That's
like
exactly
you normally
right.
would too.
That's right. Got to bring our wireless mic to the press
well,
box. Let's run that down there. Ball gets away. This will move runners up 90 feet. Tyler Skyleman to second. Chase Dixon to third on the wild pitch.
Well, here Wenatchee goes. They got a good chance of scoring here and getting rid of that goose egg on the scoreboard, trailing at 7-0. We maybe have a little say about something here.
What was Earl Weaver's favorite play? The 3-run homer?
Yes.
You got to really hit one out to left here, of course, but that would certainly help things out a little bit. 7-0 right now. Wenatchee a chance to chip away, though. Ground ball hit toward third. Throw comes home for the force, and that's all Eastmont will get. That's all they wanted there, though. Nice job by Singleton, taking his time and retiring Kane. Or retiring, I should say Dixon at home. Runners at first and third now. But that was really good running by Skyleman, following up and going to third regardless. That's hard to say what to do there. It looked like he just ran once he realized Singleton was coming home, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and just good baseball by Eastmont. Get the lead runner, keep the run from scoring, get a sure out.
Luke Byer takes ball 1, hit into a double play to end the first inning.
It's one thing I'm sure you've noticed over the year of doing games for us here on the NCWLIFE Channel is that both Eastmont and Wenatchee coached really well, fundamentally sound baseball.
Runner takes off from first, and he'll get in there standing. Strike 2 now to Byer. Stolen base for Dylan Kane. First steal of the day for Wenatchee. Eastmont got one back in the first. The courtesy runner for Logan Schneider took second. Two pretty good defensive teams, though. You're right, Eric. Ball 1 there to Byer. It's 1-2.
Talking with Jeff Zender, the head coach for Wenatchee. Last year's season wiped out by COVID. I think they got their uniforms, and then 2 days later they had to turn them back in. And Zender was saying, man, that was the year, that was the team.
Ball hit up the middle, base hit. This will score 1, maybe 2 for the Panthers. Rounding third comes Kane. The throw will be held up, and both runners come in to score. It's Luke Byer with a 2 RBI single to get Wenatchee on the board. That makes it 7-2 now on the 2 RBI knock by Byer, the catcher. And Coven will step up to the plate with a chance to help his own cause as the courtesy runner comes on for Byer. And yeah, Eric, you're absolutely right. I was reading the article from a year ago. Just to refresh my memory, the World had a good one. They talked to Zender. They said, that was a team that would have had 11 seniors.
Yeah,
think about that.
And how just devastating for those seniors that knew they had a great chance of doing some incredible things, not just Big Nine, but state-wise. Coach Zender said he was absolutely positive that he had a state contender and wiped away.
It's unbelievable. And Zender's a guy who knows that. The team only lost one game just a few years ago as well, and that wasn't until the Big Nine tournament. There's a ball. It's 1-1 now to Jack Coven. And it just, in college, the nice thing is a lot of guys have been given another year of eligibility, but not a lot of people are talking about how at the high school level, there's no choice. The guys want to keep moving up.
Yeah.
1-1 count. Runner from first takes off. Hit and run. It's fouled away, though. 1-2 count now to Covenant. Byer over at first had a 2 RBI single a moment ago to score Skyland and Kane. It's just hard to bounce back from that, though, if you're Wenatchee, and that's something. I look at the roster when we get here, and I go, wow, I'm trying to remember how many of these guys I remember from a couple of years ago. It's a lot of new faces. It's the ball. The throw to second is. Hits off of the glove. Stolen base for Kane. Maybe more as he slides into third safe. So a stolen base and a throwing error.
Almost wonder, it looked kind of like a delayed steal, but I think the runner advancing to second was maybe it was supposed to be a hit and run again, but the batter took, and so he's kind of caught in no man's land and decides to finally swipe the bag at second. Then the throw gets off the second baseman out into right center field and take another 90 feet, thank you.
Yeah, you'll give him credit for committing and taking advantage of the mistake as well. Hot shot to third. Singleton, nice job to field that. Flips to first, and he retires Covenant. Wenatchee does get 2 runs across on 2 hits, and they cut the deficit now down to 5 runs. It's 7-2. Wenatchee versus Eastmont. Wildcats leading here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
By working together as a community, we can all play a part in promoting children's well-being and strengthening families. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Chelan Douglas CASA is dedicated to supporting families and reducing the risk of child abuse and neglect. Join us in our community-wide Pinwheel project and help keep kids safe. If you suspect a child is being abused or neglected, please call 1-866-363-4276.
Seven to 2, Eastmont leads Wenatchee as we're back at Rec Park. Joel Norman with Eric Granstrom. I almost said Garrick Anstrom or something there. Sorry,
okay.
Eric.
It's all right. I've had worse.
Ground ball hit over toward second base side. Be fielded by England. Flips to first. Joe Murphy retired on 1 pitch there as we get started here in the top of the 4th inning. Eastmont scored 6 times in the first, tacked on another in the third. Wenatchee answered with 2 more in the bottom half. See how familiar with these teams get with each other. With today's game, it's kind of feeling out a little bit because they'll play a doubleheader this Saturday. It'll be over at Dan White Field. Well, of course, we'll have that for you as well here on the NCWLIFE channel. First pitch is a little bit low to Michael Singleton. Jack Covenant still on the hill for Wenatchee. Came on with 2 outs, 6 runs across in the top of the first inning. He's allowed 1 run since then. One thing hurting him have been the walks today. As he gets a strike, it's 1-1. 4 walks on the game for Covenant. 3 of them came in the second as he was able to get out of a 2-out bases loaded jam in that frame.
He's got an interesting delivery. His body's kind of way ahead of his arm.
Just a little bit.
You'll see he kind of he's falling forward and off the side of the mound before he's actually releasing the ball.
a little bit to the side, as you were gesturing, of course, off camera here. But, you're signaling that sidearm somewhat.
Almost.
Misses inside and low. When he threw to first base on the sack bunt that was put down, he did pretty much sidearm over to first base. So might just be more comfortable. The thing I always wonder is how do guys get to that point? You see the submariners. At what point did someone say, why don't you try almost touching the ground and throw?
Well, and they say that's a more natural rotation for your arm rather than, pitchers in that overhand throw, which is kind of wrecks your arm every time you do it.
Yeah, public service announcement. Throwing a baseball is not good for your arm.
No.
Contrary to popular belief.
Especially if you're a pitcher.
This one misses for ball 4 outside.
We talked about the walk problems, and here we go again. The one-out walk here in the top of the 4th inning.
Yeah, the last 2 innings both began with walks. At least this time pitching with 1 out and the runner at first base. But you hate to start the inning with that leadoff walk. The saying goes the 2-out walk is one of the worst you can get. But I think if you've got to go from the stretch after your first batter of the inning, that's no good either. Covenant's gone from the stretch a lot today, including when he first came on.
Nice move, though.
Yeah, throws over to first. Singleton back over there. Logan Schneider up to the plate now for Eastmont.
I just got to say, we're up here in the box atop Lee Bofto Field of the Apple Bowl, looking out at the rec park from center field. It is an absolutely gorgeous afternoon.
It is.
Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely. Not a cloud in the sky. Covenant misses with ball 2.
There's a little light breeze blowing into the press box here. Temperatures, low 70s, I imagine, right now.
70 exactly.
It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast.
Absolutely. Hope everyone's – maybe you're watching outside. It's the right kind of day to sit outside and watch.
Absolutely.
That was something I did a lot in the last year of the pandemic. I'd take a TV outside. There's a strike. Take the TV outside, hook it up, and watch outside, maybe have a fire or something.
Why not?
Why not? It was so nice. But – that was the tough thing. Once the winter hit, you couldn't do as much outside.
That's true.
All summer, you're thinking, this is not
COVID's
bad.
not too bad. And then the winter hits, and you can't go anywhere, and then you're stuck inside all the time. And
you go out for a meal, and you're having your steak in 30 degrees. Doesn't quite feel the same as it normally does. Popped up down the right field line. That'll make it toward the parking lot. Foul ball. Logan Schneider batting with a runner at first and 1 out. Singleton's over there after drawing his second walk of the ball game. He's reached base in all 3 of his plate appearances.
Took my eyes over to the bullpen behind the dugout on the first baseline. Eastmont's got a left-hander warming up.
It looks like a little bit of action. Their bullpen's a little funky. There is an elevated surface over there. I don't know if you can quite call it a mound, but if the white rubber's there, it's a mound. Sidearm delivery outside. Did he offer at it? Looks like I haven't seen the signal, did not. Now, Eric, I've had this debate many a times with people, or sometimes with myself on air. I don't like that you can appeal to the umpire near second base on a swing. I don't know if he has the best sight line. I know you have to appeal. It's the only option, but I don't like that he's the one who makes the call. How does he know? He doesn't see the angle.
Yeah.
No offense to our second base umpire.
Although we're 420 feet away, and we say we can call that too, though, Joel.
That's very true. Ball looks like they got the runner in a rundown. If they can get him, it was bobbled at first. He's going to take second. How about that? The runner, Schneider, was just caught looking at a ghost. Popped throw over to first, caught him in between the first and second base bag, and it looked like first baseman Brownlee was so excited about the opportunity, he didn't keep the ball with him. So it's going to go down as a stolen base then for Singleton.
Sometimes those situations, especially when you've got a younger ball club, the eyes get big, the heart starts beating a little faster, adrenaline starts running, and we talk about you make them make the play, and sometimes they're not going to make the play.
Eastmont's hit the ball hard today, but you're right. They have taken advantage of a couple times where Wenatchee was either hesitant or just didn't make the play. Fouled away. Here goes out of play behind home plate. I wonder if a foul ball has ever hit a passing car behind home plate here. I'm sure at some point that has to have happened.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is one of the parks that's most parks I've gone to, there's games of this level that's this close to the road. I can't think of too many other examples. Of course, you got your little league fields, but you're not seeing guys hit it that hard. Called strike 3, and that will retire Logan Schneider for the second out of the inning.
Of course, Recreation Park has been here a long, long time. And the pavement outside, I'm sure, was gravel at one point on a dusty trail that came by the ballpark as people brought their horses down to watch a game.
Absolutely. A long time ago. Hit over toward third. Little hesitation. Fired over to first. Nice pick by Brownlee. Christensen to Brownlee on the ground out that goes 5-3 to end the top of the fourth inning. 7-2 Eastmont leads Wenatchee. We'll be right back in just a moment. You're watching the NCWLIFE Channel.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
We're back here at Recreation Park. Joel Norman alongside Eric Granstrom as Wenatchee trails Eastmont 7-2. Panthers coming up to hit, though, here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Eric, we were just talking about Recreation Park a little bit, a lot of the historical significance. Of course, Wenatchee Chiefs, old minor league team, played here. You were just talking about the stands a moment ago.
Yeah, the grandstands used to run all the way down either line here, past the third base and first base dugouts, and all the way down. The stands used to be a little bit taller than they are now. And I was talking about Bob Robertson, of course, famous voice of the Cougars for so many years. Used to be the voice of the Wenatchee Chiefs, and he talked one time when I was doing the Apple Sox games when we had Cougar Day at the ballpark about broadcasting games here and doing double headers back for the Chiefs and sitting atop the roof. Because there wasn't really a press box. He would sit up on top of the roof, and Bob Robertson back in the day was a redhead. And with the redhead goes the sunshine, and you don't want to be in the sunshine. And he talked about the worst sunburns he got from being up on top of the roof at Recreation Park calling games. Talk about back in the day.
Every seat counts, so you can't put them in the seating area. You got to sell those seats, right? That's the right mindset. I've seen those old photos where they're on top there. One, would not be allowed by today's safety standards. Yeah, no. Two, what a neat view in a lot of ways, but also maybe a little frustrating.
Well, you could get really close to the action, almost like Joe Martin Field in Bellingham, where you're sitting right over home plate.
Oh, that's one of the unique views. Bell's been playing at that one ever since they joined the West Coast League. So, yeah, that's a really cool view. 2-0 the count. Lucas Banning's out of the ball game. And we got a southpaw on hand for Eastmont now.
How are your eyeballs on seeing the number on his back?
It's impossible with the light blue and the sun. That's come off twice, I can tell you that.
Looks like number 5. Of course, our cameraman can tell us what number it is.
That's exactly right. 5 stomps if it's number 5, right? If it's 5, it's Dylan Esparza.
That's not Dylan. I know Dylan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Preston Brownlee at the plate, though, for Wenatchee as he takes ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to kick-start this bottom of the fourth.
Or is it number 9?
All right, let's go to the roster here. If it's number 9, it's Hunter Rule.
Well, Hunter's been in the field, right?
He has.
Or was he DHing? He's been in the game, I know.
Hunter Rule was in center field, and now in center field is Dylan Esparza.
Aha.
So it looks like he's
We're right. So it is Hunter Rule on the mound right now.
There we go.
I should know that by the hair. Hunter Rule has a shock of locks.
He's going to need something to keep that cap down here. I mean, is that 3 hat falls we've got now?
It is.
I'm going to start the tally chart.
You don't want to crimp the lovely locks coming out the back of the hat. So
pass ball is going to move Brownlee into scoring position. It's tough to pitch with that much hair as it warms up, though. That's the only thing.
I wouldn't know about that, Jeff.
What's the longest your hair's been, Eric?
Actually, in college, I had it in a ponytail in the back that I could reach around with my left hand, and I could grab the end of the ponytail.
Really?
Believe it or not, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive. I've never grown mine
really.
to that.
It was really bad. It was not something to behold, that's for sure.
Well, it's impressive hair length. I'll give you that. I've never had it that far.
Okay.
So I'll give you that one there.
When you first came to town, you had a long shock of hair.
I had longer hair then because I grew it out a little bit that first year. This one misses high for a ball to Isaac England. Bats with a runner at second base after a walk and a pass ball. Now, my senior year of college in the spring semester, I had a class. It was a TV broadcast class. Our teacher was adamant. This one misses inside, ball 4, back-to-back walks. Our teacher was adamant, Eric, that you had to be, as a guy, you had to be clean-shaven, and you had to have professional-looking hair, so to speak. So after not being able to do that for a little bit, I decided after school ended, I would grow it out a little bit more. Now it's a walk. Looks like before that England was confused on the count. Ball 4 to him regardless. First and second now.
Oh, Wenatchee a little something here, last 2 innings in a row. See if they can get back into this ball game.
They've got an opportunity here, though. They got 2 runs last inning, as you mentioned.
A little discussion on the mound with a new pitcher out there.
Hunter Rule out there after Lucas Banning went 3 innings. He allowed 1 run, and it was earned.
And that's going to be it for Hunter Rule.
That was pretty quick. 2 walks, and he's out of there immediately. So Rule heads to the dugout. Let's see what other changes we have.
So now the guess on the number, it looks like 24 that's taken over on the mound.
24. So Esparza is moving from center. He's going to the dugout, so I assume he's going into the infield. Take a look. We'll wait for things to sort out.
Yeah.
It's a long trot from center to the dugout. Today's broadcast being brought to you by August Edge Real Estate, your personal real estate agency with full service offered at just a 2% listing fee. Also by Jeffers, Danielson, Son, Alliard, and Alliard Attorneys, serving the Wenatchee Valley with the finest professional services since 1946.
I could have helped you with those a little bit before I just threw you, the sheet and
how about the next one?
And said, what it was. Aylward Attorneys.
Aylward, okay.
Laura Mounter Real Estate, rated world's best real estate firm for the Wenatchee Valley in 2020. And One Way Construction. One Way is a premier custom home builder and general contractor in North Central Washington. One Way Construction, your project, your way.
Happy to have you tuning in with us. Also watching live on our Facebook page as well. Joel Norman with Eric Granstrom. It's currently a 7-2 ball game. But there is a pitching change before Joe Skyland will step up.
Did you look and see if there's a 24 on their roster? Did I get that right?
Let's double check. I see no 24 on the roster I was handed.
But then again, you just never know.
So Rule's back in center field. He came out of it for 2 batters. Preston Brownlee and Isaac England both walked. Now Skyland's up, and we've got a new pitcher, as you mentioned. Trying to keep an eye out on that.
It's a 20-something, I can tell you that.
That's for sure. We do have a 20. That's Lucas Banning. So that's, I don't know, he was starting earlier.
Well, there's a 24 and a 25 on the junior varsity roster.
Okay.
24 would be Colin Babst, possibly.
Colin Babst.
They do list him as a pitcher. He would be a freshman.
So it looks like, Banning's over at first base, so Klinkenberg's no longer there. I'm not sure where he might be. He might be out of the game. We'll have to figure that out. But either way, a scoring opportunity here coming up for Wenatchee after back-to-back walks to start off the inning. We mentioned Banning's line before. The 3 innings did allow just 3 hits, 1 run scored. 3 errors on the defense behind him, though, certainly didn't help. It's the first offering to Skyleman. That misses for a ball. Banning did not walk any batters. Rule, of course, came in and walked the only 2 he faced. 2 strikeouts on the day for the right-hander Banning. First and second for the Panthers, no outs. Pitch is in there for a strike. It's 1-1.
Yeah, that's 24.
24. So if that's the case, then we have, what was the name again?
So that would be Colin Babst.
Colin Babst. It's the beauty of the high school sports, isn't it, Eric?
Yes.
Bunt put down, popped up, and it goes foul.
Well, and that part of that is my problem because, poor Joel was back doing his due diligence behind home plate before the ball game, getting lineups, getting rosters, all that kind of fun stuff. And I said, by the way, Joel, you're clear out there in center field. And then we had Joel running around with a microphone and no way to talk back to home, and it was just a cluster. So poor Joel Didn't get his complete pregame ritual, which I know he is fastidious about.
Bunt put down, throw over to third is not in time. It looks like it was close, a bang-bang play. So it's going to be a fielder's choice that allows Skyland to reach first and for everyone to move up 90 feet. No base hits in the inning, but the base is loaded with no outs for Wenatchee. This is the biggest moment of the game so far, Eric.
Chance for Wenatchee to really cut into that lead here by Eastmont.
7-2 right now. Eastmont knows it's a big moment in the game, but they'll take a couple outs for a run if they can. Infield is back at double play depth. Runners take their leads. First pitch is a little bit low to Connor Christensen. Struck out to lead off the third inning. Bats with the bases loaded and no outs here in the fourth, with Wenatchee trailing by 5 runs.
So if this is Colin Babst, I mean, just a freshman out there, he's got to feel the pressure right now.
Swung on, hit over towards second. Flip to the bag for one, throw to first in time for the double play. Panthers get a run there, as Brownlee will come in to score, but Skyleman and Christensen retired on the double play ball. It goes 4-6-3. One run comes in, no RBI though, of course, on that. The double plays and the errors, the only times you don't get an RBI.
As a batter, you're like, hey, I put the ball in play.
That's right. The double play doesn't give you an RBI, which I kind of disagree with, even though it does give you 2 outs, but fouled away, meanwhile, by Chase Dixon. Singled last time up.
Now, don't get me started on blowing a save and then getting a win.
Oh,
don't even start with me.
That's the worst. You have no business. The win statistic in general needs to go away. 0-1 right now. Runner at third base, but 2 outs. Inside nearly clipped Dixon.
Mariners fell to the Dodgers today, by the way. Afternoon game at T-Mobile Park. I think I heard on the radio there was only 3 hits total today in the game. So low-scoring affair at T-Mobile Park.
Marco Gonzalez was going, I saw.
Yes.
So that's good to hear. He pitched well. That's outside for a ball here. Nice win, though, last night for the Mariners.
Yeah.
You tell me you're going to split with the Dodgers. I'd take
Hottest
that.
team in baseball, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We've seen the Mariners get off to a hot start before, though. So all of us longtime Seattle fans are like,
That's right.
Well, we'll enjoy it while it's lasting.
Swing and a miss. You know, it's one of those situations where I talk to you in maybe August or September.
Yeah.
The last few times.
We just hope they're in a chance, in a position for maybe a wild card spot. That'd be awesome.
You know, they've got such a stacked outfield right now.
Yeah.
There's a reason they should have a chance. Kind of like what they did last year. It was a competitive team last year.
Kyle Lewis, by the way, back in the lineup today, so good to see him back from that knee injury in spring training.
They've got too many outfilders.
Yeah, they do, actually.
And probably trade Haniger.
And I kind of wondered about that with the fact that they've been playing so well without Kyle Lewis. Do you ruin your recipe?
This is outside for ball 4. Puts runners at first and third. Continues the inning for Wenatchee as Dixon reaches. England still over at third. 1 run in, but 2 outs. As top of the order, it's Tyler Skyleman coming up. It's hard to say, you know. You're obviously happy to have the reigning Rookie of the Year back.
Yes.
But you wonder, it's like, who do you take out? Tramel's been hitting well. No one's taking Haniger's spot, obviously.
Haniger is on fire.
Yeah. I wonder how much longer he might still be here as a result.
I think they'll wait longer to see positioning-wise if they're really going to hang around the top of the American League West. Oakland's on fire right now after a slow start.
It's a strong team year in and year out, it feels like. Fouled away by Tyler Skyleman.
I don't think anybody is unhappy about seeing Houston on the bottom of the league right now in the division.
Well, they're certainly not helped with a couple guys on the injured list, of course.
Right.
But, no one's crying a tear for them. First and third, 2 outs. Pitch outside. The throw towards second. Sails into center field. That'll score a run for Wenatchee. England comes in easily. I'd call that a pass ball and a throwing error. Not that it's really anyone's fault on the receiving end with the umpire in the way, the runner in the way.
Yeah, it's one of those rare, almost a mental mistake by the catcher for Eastmont there. You've fallen on your back. The ball got by you. At that point, just eat it. Just let the runner take the bag.
Well, that's exactly right. Stolen base, though, for Dixon regardless. One is popped up, right side of the infield. Getting a glove on that is Bandy. No, unable to get a glove on. Had a good look. That's going to score another run for Wenatchee. Throws home late. It's Skyland. That's a single because it didn't hit his glove. It went down. That's a base hit to the first base side. He ends up at second. Heck, you could argue it's a double. He was still running. That'll score Dixon all the way from second base. Skyland never stopped running. I got to say that's a double because he never stopped. And it's not like the throw was the reason why he got to second base. So that's an infield double for Tyler Skyland. Only at the high school baseball level do you see that one. 3 runs in the inning for Wenatchee. All of a sudden, we've got a ball game. They've scored 5 runs in each of the last 2 innings, and now they've cut it down to a 7-5 ball game. And for Wenatchee, all but one of these runs this inning have come with 2 outs. Might be getting more here. Swung on, hit right back to the pitcher. He'll flip over to first to retire Kane, and the side also retired, but not before the Panthers strike for 3 more runs and make it a 2-run ball game. We'll go to the 5th inning in just a moment. Back after these messages. You're watching the NCWLIFE Channel.
At Earthwise Pet, we take an all-natural approach to wellness and nutrition. Our professional certified groomers were trained by the best in the Pacific Northwest. Our staff here at Earthwise Pet are all certified in pet nutrition. We are here to help you select the perfect food, supplement, and anything else you may need to make sure your pet is living its best and most healthy life. Earthwise Pet, Nutrition Center and Wellness Spa. Online or in the store, we are here for you.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Well, Wenatchee's made it a ball game now. They scored 3 more in the 4th inning to make it 7-5. And as we go to the 5th inning, Eastmont still leads thanks to that 6-run first inning that they had. But each of Wenatchee's 5 runs have come in the last 2 innings. Jack Covenant deals a little low to Elijah Smiley to lead off this 5th inning. And for Wenatchee, that 4th inning, a little ugly how the runs came across, but the point is they came across nonetheless. 3 runs on 1 hit. Only 1 error, maybe had a case for a couple, as there's a base hit into center to start off the 5th inning. Smiley with his 2nd hit of the ball game. 3 runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left on. 1 run came across on a double play ball, another on a throwing error, and another on a infield pop-up that should have ended the inning that turned to a run-scoring double. But just like that, we've got a 2-run game, Eric.
Great ball game, suddenly. The way things started with that 6-run first, you thought, man, this is going to be a long day for Wenatchee, but the Panthers have clawed their way back into it.
You know, the nice thing when you get down in a hole early, strike 1 to Austin Popoff, 4th plate appearance already of the day. The nice thing when you get down in an early hole, it's kind of like, why the heck not go out and compete? You got nothing to lose at that point.
Right.
That's one way to look at it. The other way is, well, that's it.
Well, yeah, and that says a lot about a team. Do they fold their tent and go, or do they stick around and see what happens?
0-2 now to Popoff after he swings and misses. 1 for 3 with a triple and a run scored back in the 1st inning. Give credit to Wenatchee and Zender's squad today, really rallying back and not giving up. The first 2 innings were tough. They had opportunities, but both ended with double play balls. Eastmont has turned 3 double plays today. Covenant misses. It's 1-2 now. 3 double plays turned. Wenatchee, I thought they had 1. I believe they do not. I must have mistaken that for an Eastmont one. Runner off of first is Smiley. Singled a moment ago. Covenant misses again. It's 2-2. Jack Covenant has been on since the 1st inning. He got the final out with a strikeout of the batter up at the plate right now, Austin Popoff. Since then, he's only allowed 1 run in relief. Misses outside again to push the count full. Good job by Popoff being patient. Count is full now. Started out 0-2, but has worked his way to a payoff pitch in a moment. Jack Covenant comes set. Side armor deals. Breaking ball. Swung on and missed. The throw to second to try and get the runner. Not in time. So Smiley takes second base to move into scoring position, but Covenant gets the first out of the inning on a punch out of Popoff.
Nice running by Smiley. Whether that ball gets put into play or not, he's got second base no matter what happens back there, and it's always tough for the catcher on a swinging strike to get that throw down to second base unencumbered.
And for Popoff, that's a situation you pretty much have to swing on the payoff pitch either way, but then you see the runner take off, and you've got to really help him. Ball 1 to Cooper Richards. So that puts Smiley in scoring position now with 1 out. Number 2 batter in the order, Richards up. Another left-handed hitter after him in Hunter Rule. Covenant a peek over at second. Comes home. Way outside for ball 2.
I don't see anybody warming up behind Covenant, so this is, his to get right now. But then again, it's high school baseball. They're kind of loose all the time.
Oh, the reliever might be on the field right now.
Yeah, that's true. And just as we say that, here comes the coach out of the dugout to see what he wants to do here.
Might be a change, not yet. Infielders from the left side will come in, so that's Christensen and Tyler Skyleman. Quick chat there for a moment. Tonight's broadcast being brought to you by Global Car Care. Your vehicle is their #1 priority. Diesels and European cars are their specialty. Pick up and drop off available. Stop by their website, globalcarcare.net.
Well, it wasn't Zender that came out of the dugout to have this discussion on the mound, so if it's Zender, he's got the hook, but no hook right now, just probably a discussion about concentrating on getting that ball over the plate.
The pitching coach does have the authority to remove the pitcher, but it's so rare you ever see that.
Yeah, anymore.
The only time I ever saw that was 2019, the West Coast League. Yakima Valley's pitching coach, Rob Hippie, actually would do that.
Well, that's Rob, though, too.
Yeah, that's true. Pitches outside for a ball to Richards.
I loved his time when he was with the Apple Sox. You talk about a gem of a human being.
Yeah.
And just experience in one story after another.
He groomed some impressive pitchers, too, in his time in Wenatchee. There's a strike. 1-1 to Cooper Richards. Bats with a runner at second. That's Smiley, and 1 out in the inning. Richards has grounded out to score a run in the first inning. Walked in the second. Reached on an error in the third. No hits, but some really productive at-bats today. Connects on this, but fouls it back into the fence. Talking about the Rec Park a little bit earlier. We mentioned Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. I don't know if you've got a chance to see it all, Eric, the new scoreboard over at Paul Thomas.
I haven't seen it yet. I was in on that discussion after it was being installed and just haven't seen it yet, but excited to get a chance to see it and to see video on the scoreboard.
This one is swung on, hit towards center field. That will get down in front of Kane. Runner being held up at third. Nice throw into the cutoff man. It's a base hit for Cooper Richards to put runners at the corners with 1 out for Eastmont here in the top of the 5th inning.
2-run ball game. Good idea by the coach over at third base to hold him up and try to generate maybe a little bit more offense here for Eastmont.
Only 1 out in the inning, too.
Yep.
So it's not like you have to send him, so to speak.
Well, speaking of Zender coming out of the dugout, here he comes, and I'm going to make a pitching change here.
Let's see who he brings out here. He's pointing out towards short. So I believe that's going to be Tyler Skyleman coming on then. Unless it's something else, or we just wanted him to come over. So we've got movement all throughout the field. So it's a question of, are they going to chat, or are they going to get a new glove or in a new position as well? Entire infield is on the mound right now. Outfield is going to gather out towards center field as well. So it's a pitching change one way or another for Zender.
I talked to a high school coach years ago about that, and I said, so what is that discussion? Do you really have in mind? He says, well, sometimes I have in mind what I want to do. Other times, I honestly, you could do just eeny, meeny, miny, mo on picking somebody who's going to come in and relief pitch.
case like this, that's absolutely true. You've got all the guys on the hill. It's a 2-run game, though, so you've got to think Zender's got to be thinking, a little bit. But I'd say if it was still like it was earlier, he very well might have been doing that. It's hard to say. It's funny when you chat with pitching coaches, especially about their stories when they go out to the rubber. You say, so what are you telling? You giving them the scouting report? No, I just made a joke or something out there. I asked him when he went for dinner.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
Well, and sometimes, with this analytical world that we live in as far as baseball is concerned anymore, and pitchers are a different breed to begin with, and sometimes it gets so much into their head that you have to go out there and talk to them and say, take them totally off of the topic at hand and make them just jar out of wherever they were in their mind to come back to rallying and go, just throw strikes. Yeah. That's all we want.
And it sounds so easy, and it's just one of those things you can forget about. You're trying to think, do I have to pitch this guy away? Do I not want to throw an off-speed pitch in on him? You're right. There are so many things to take in.
If you're having a hard time with your release point, am I opening my hips? Is my shoulder open? What's my elbow doing? Am I coming over the top? Am I dropping down the side? My elbow, whatever. All those things that can come into mind. And sometimes it's just about seeing the catcher's glove and throwing into it.
It's just as simple as that. Just playing catch at the end of the day, really. Just making sure they don't hit it, though. So it looks like Kovinen has come out of the game as a pitcher, moved over to first base. And I believe Brownlee's back in right field where he started tonight's game. So Kovinen started the game, of course, over at first base. He's back there now, though. And on the mound, Tyler Skyland. On the season, he's pitched in 1 game. Allowed 3 hits, 5 runs, 3 of which were earned. Walked 4, struck out 3. And an ERA of 21 on the season.
Of course,
one outing.
Yeah, that's a little tough. So
yeah, just one outing though. So very early.
Wenatchee hoping for a little better productivity out of him on the mound here.
Oh, absolutely. Runners at first and third for Eastmont after the pitching change, all ready to reset now. Skyland, the right-hander, faces Hunter Rule, who has driven in 1, collected 2 hits, and reached base in all 3 at-bats. Strike 1 to him. How about that first inning? 3 extra base hits, 2 of which were triples. Only in Rec Park. You get 2 triples in the same inning.
This is a very large ballpark.
Second offering, a little bit high. 1-1 the count. You look at the dimensions of the park. 350 to left, which is just crazy. To the pole, 350. 385 to center, 295 to right. Rule thinking probably about trying to poke one out to right. Takes inside for another ball, 2-1.
And the ball, just for whatever reason, it's so different here than even at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. The ball just doesn't seem to carry much here.
I don't think there's as much wind. I think that's what it is.
It could be.
Even at Dan White Field, there's a little more wind.
Yeah.
There's a hot shot down the line, but foul. Our Kramer on the first baseline. Pretty close, but not in danger, fortunately.
I told Levi down there, I said, hey, if the ball comes your way, just grab the camera and move a little bit.
There you go. And bring a glove next time.
Let's save the camera.
First and foremost. That's what they tell the camera operators underneath the baseline of basketball games. Popped up, third base side. Might be trouble. Ranging back, unable to make the play on that one. Shortstop fires over to second, gets the force there. Good recovery by England.
Well, that's a good job by the umpiring crew not to call an infield fly there. Tough ball, just on the outside of our artificial surface here at Recreation Park. And, just a difficult ball up in the air, backwards, both the shortstop and third baseman running backwards. Plus, you've got the sunshine that you're looking back in to try to find that baseball.
Yeah, Isaac England had a little bit of trouble. Him and Christensen ranged back, couldn't get it. England recovered and flipped over to second to get the force there. Popped into right field, and this will be caught as it's grabbed by Brownlee out there, and the side is retired. So great opportunity for Eastmont to cash in and add to their lead, but unable to do so as Wenatchee able to strand them there in the top of the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th. We'll be right back here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers We're following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
Save Mart is the place to go if you are in the market for home furnishings. They have rows and rows of sofas, love seats, recliners, and chairs in a vast array of fabrics and colors. Name brands include Ashley, Best, and Stanton. With pictures, lamps, and tables to complement your new furniture, Save Mart is a one-stop shop. Save Mart offers 12-month special financing on approval of credit. Save Mart also offers free delivery, setup, and haul away in their service area. Serving the Wenatchee Valley for over 50 years. Located on North Wenatchee Avenue or visit online at savemart.net.
Back here at Recreation Park as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. It's Wenatchee trailing Eastmont 7-5. Eric Granstrom and Joel Norman here bringing you the action. Today's broadcast being brought to you by Les Schwab Tires. Les Schwab takes your safety seriously every time you stop by. So Wenatchee will send 3-4-5 up to the plate. Luke Byer, Jack Kovanen, and Preston Brownlee stepping up. First pitch swinging. Base hit to right center field, a bouncing ball. Byers going to round first base, head over towards second, sliding in with a leadoff double. That'll get things started for the Panthers here in the bottom of the fifth.
Well, I'll tell you, it's hard to have any kind of momentum in the game of baseball, but it seems Wenatchee's got the momentum right now. The score is 7-5. Eastmont, as you talked about, 3 hits in the last inning, but not able to get any runs across.
Bizarre.
So Wenatchee's right there knocking on the door.
Courtesy runner comes on for Byer. It's going to be Ben Kennedy, the freshman. And you're absolutely right. It's rare we see an inning where there's 3 hits in it, no runs come across, and the bases were never loaded either. Runner at second. And the first pitch is going to get away from the catcher. Throw towards second, not in time. So a pass ball puts Byer 90 feet away from scoring. Couldn't quite corral that one, and Kovanen has a chance to drive him in. Wenatchee only down by 2, trailed by as many as 6 in this ball game. We're in the bottom of the fifth right now. Forget about the 10-run rule we were thinking about earlier. Kovanen takes a strike. 1-1 the count now.
That's a good pitch for that freshman there in this tight situation now for Eastmont suddenly.
Absolutely. Colin Babst on the hill. Runner over at third base. Right-hander kicks and deals. Swung on. Long fly down the right field line. Past the camera. And also foul. I saw the way you looked.
I did. No, I was following the fly to the ball. I was, wondering if it was going to be in play or out of play.
But it's the way you crouched and turned your head a little bit and tried to grab the old hair that used to be the ponytail. Runner at third still with no outs in the inning. Byer with the leadoff double. Reached third on the pass ball. Kovanen at the dish. Swings and fouls again. Started at first base, went to the mound, went back to first base. Kovanen struck out 4, only allowed 1 run his time on the mound. Trying to make this game a little bit closer. Steps back in, swings and misses for strike 3. Big cut there.
Good off-speed pitch by Babs. Fooled him. He was way out in front of it. That's a big strikeout right there.
First out of the inning. Preston Brownlee stepping up to the plate now. Another guy who started at one position, left it, went back to it. He's back in right field. Played first base in between as he takes strike 1.
Boy, that's some guts right there for a freshman to throw an off-speed pitch on the first pitch with a runner at third base.
The 5th hitter in the lineup, too. That's a guy he's going to have power. 1-1 the count after he misses. Scoring recap in this one. Eastmont scored 6 times in the first inning. No runs again in the bottom of the first or the second from either side until Wildcats got another in the third. Wenatchee scored 2 in the bottom of the third and then 3 in the bottom of the fourth. Swing and a miss by Brownlee. It's 1-2. Isaac England on deck right now. Wenatchee's had 3 pitchers on the hill today. Eastmont has had as many. Each one of Wenatchee's pitchers has recorded at least 1 out, though. Not the case for Eastmont. This one misses outside. Hunter Rule faced 2 batters, walked both of them, and then both would eventually come around to score. At that point in the ballgame, before his 2 walks, it looked like Eastmont was pretty much in control, and they do still have the lead. Misses outside as well. It's a full count. And they still are in the lead, Eric, but boy, you know that. Those 2 walks to start off, then the pitching change, and then you get the double play ball, a walk, and the pop double. It would turn into an inning that really was, it should never have gotten to that point.
Yeah.
Is I think the simplest way to put it.
Totally.
Payoff pitch coming. It's a big one. Swung on, cracked in the air towards center field. Running back is Rule, loses the hat, but catches the ball. Tagging from third base is Byer. Throw is cut off, and he will score. We've got a 1-run ball game with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. 7-6. Eastmont still leads. Sac fly by Brownlee to the deepest part of the ballpark. Scores Byer from third after his leadoff double.
Good at bat. Good battle between the pitcher Babst and Brownlee at the plate, and Brownlee just doing what he could with the ball to get it out of the infield. Give yourself a chance to score that run from third base, and they do.
Absolutely. Oh, no one on. First pitch swinging. Here's a base hit into the gap in right center field. Isaac England is aboard with a 2-out single. He has reached base in all 3 at-bats in different ways each time. An error in the 2nd inning, a walk in the 4th, and now a single here in the 5th. So Wenatchee continues to just chip away and stay alive as Joe Skyland steps up to the dish, the second baseman. 0 for 2 on the day, into a double play in the 2nd, and then a fielder's choice in the 4th.
Well, you talk about that, Joel. You know, Eastmont got up 6-0, and for Wenatchee it became a determination about how you're going to eat your meal. You've got an elephant to swallow. You do it in 1 bite, or you do it 1 bite at a time.
That's the tough thing, is you taking your time and being patient. And obviously, you get down in the hole and you're hoping to hit it out of the park sometimes with every pitch, but you can't do that.
No.
So, pitching change coming up here for Eastmont as the shadows continue to creep onto the field, making it a little bit tougher. We'll try to get the number. It looks like a single digit this time.
7.
7, I believe.
Yep.
Cade Kuski then. So the southpaw will toe the rubber. 4th pitcher of the day now for Eastmont.
If you're hearing music on the broadcast, that's because behind us they're getting ready for soccer tonight between Wenatchee and Chelan at Lee Bofto Field of the Apple Bowl. So we are proximity-wise right between the 2 fields of play here as the teams warm up for soccer. That'll start at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, baseball happening at Recreation Park here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
And we were worried we wouldn't have natural sound today. And there it is.
There it is.
So here's the situation for Wenatchee. Runner over at first base is the tying runner here in the bottom of the 5th inning. They've scored 1 run already this inning to make it 7-6, trailed by as many as 6 runs. After a tough first inning for the Panthers, the Wildcats batting around, sent 10 men to the plate, 7 hits, scored 6 runs, but they've been pretty quiet offensively since then. They did get 3 hits in the 5th, 1 hit in the 3rd, but only 1 run in the last 4 innings for Eastmont. So they're hoping to stay alive to get through this inning and then try to tack on some more runs in the 6th inning. But Wenatchee may be running out of time, but they've seemed like they've gotten stronger as the game has gone on. So Eastmont hoping to get out of maybe a 2-out run coming across here to tie it.
Well, the advantage is to Wenatchee here. This is their home field, and they know how to play with this artificial surface infield, natural grass outfield.
Such a unique situation. And it includes, of course, the dirt, would-be dirt. First pitch is the ball. Runner taking off for second is England. He is in there. A high throw kept on the infield, but England swipes the bag to move into scoring position. I think he caught Eastmont sleeping there.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think they were expecting that at all with 2 outs.
And a new pitcher on the mound working from the stretch, and a left-hander looking right at the runner at first base, but I don't even think he looked at him.
Cade Kuski, the 4th pitcher of the day. You're right. As he misses again. It's 2-0 now to Joe Skyland. 0 for 2 on the day. The big at-bat for Skyland. Freshman takes a big cut as well, swings and misses. His first at-bat of the season against Chelan, he went deep. What a good way to start his high school career.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was a great game for Wenatchee against Chelan, winning 13-7. And 2 forgettable ones, of course, against Moses Lake on Saturday. Inside to Skyland. Moses Lake is really just, you know they're going to be there year in and year out. I was so stunned to see in a lot of ways, though, because Wenatchee's had some strong seasons, but they are now 1-6 in their last 7 against Moses Lake. Swing and a miss again. 2 strikes on him. It's just, that's one of those teams, that record's got to improve when we have postseason play again next year. You've got to find a way to get some wins a tough or dirty way, maybe like this, where you get down early and you claw back.
Well, you just have those communities, too, that are, for whatever reason, as the pitchers hits the batter here. So Wenatchee in business, runners at first and second, down by 1.
Still with 2 outs. That's the craziest part. But you're right, though. There are places like that.
You just, Moses Lake, both baseball and softball. They're strong in both sports, and it just continues year after year after year. And that starts, obviously, with youth programs.
Yep.
Get them when they're young, teach them good fundamentals, bring them up through your systems, and hopefully it pays out for good ball in high school.
Definitely been the case there. Husky misses. Little off on some of his pitches, you can tell. The control is not quite there. He had Skyland in a good count there. He wouldn't want to hit him, of course. First and second now, though, for Wenatchee. They trail by 1. Batting with 2 outs. Big swing and a miss. Connor Christensen at the plate, 0 for 2 on the day. Drove in a run last inning. No RBI credited as he hit into a double play to score 1. Chase Dixon on deck should the inning continue. Christensen is the 6th batter of this frame. Another big cut, 2 strikes on him.
Boy, that's 2 pitches in a row that got in on his hands. He tried to pull that bat in and try to get around on it, just couldn't get there.
England's over at first with a 2-out single, swiped second, and then Skyland hit by a pitch, a 2-2 pitch. Husky inside edge gets called strike 3. Christensen shrugged the shoulder. He'll head back to the dugout, though, as Wenatchee gets a little bit closer. They score 1 run on just 2 hits in the inning. It's now just a 1-run ball game. 7-6 Eastmont leads. We'll be right back. You're watching the NCWLIFE Channel.
Your search for quality patio furniture with excellent customer service is over. Blue Lagoon is proud to offer only the finest outdoor furniture and accessories from some of the most renowned manufacturers in the industry. Our showroom showcases a large selection of in-stock furniture, fire pits, umbrellas, cushions, and outdoor accessories. Our in-house outdoor decor specialist is available to help you design and custom order the perfect furniture for your unique space.
One-run ball game here as we start the 6th inning from Recreation Park. It's Wenatchee trailing Eastmont 7-6. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, proud sponsor of tonight's broadcast. They're providing heating and air conditioning service and installation since 1982. Serving residential and commercial, they specialize in indoor air quality, installation, and service or repair. Joe Murphy to lead things off. Swing and a miss on the first offering from Tyler Skyland. Skyland came on and got the final 2 outs. Did allow a base hit among those 2 batters, but of course it was a little pop into shallow left field. Resulted in a single, but a heads-up play by Isaac England will flip to second to get the force there. Murphy 1 for 2 on the day, fouls this one away. Doubled and scored back in the first inning. Drove in a run with that double. Walked in the second. Grounded out to lead off the 4th. 5, 6, 7, and due up this inning for Eastmont in their lineup. Skyland deals. Breaking ball pretty in there for called strike 3. Murphy down looking to start the 6th. I'll bring up Michael Singleton, who's reached base in all 3 plate appearances. 2 walks and a single today. But busy behind the plate. Wenatchee's really started running a lot later in this game too, Eric.
And that's a typical Zender-looking team. He loves to put the game in motion.
Here's the first pitch from Tyler Skyland, a little high for ball 1. Skyland, the 3rd pitcher of the day for the Panthers. Isaac England started for us against Lucas Banning, who started on the other side. Completely different stories for both starting pitchers. That one's a called strike. Isaac England allowed 6 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Banning, our other starter, the 1 run in 3 innings. 3 hits allowed, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Wonder if he could have gone maybe another inning if this would be a different story the way he was rolling. There's another strike. You never know the limitations, Eric. I think that's the big thing at the high school level. We don't always know. You're not always going to see a starter go the complete 7 every time out.
And, you know, with a doubleheader last Saturday, you don't know how many innings maybe he pitched then.
Breaking ball a little high. And you got a doubleheader, of course, coming up this Saturday. It's hard to prepare when you know there's one coming up every weekend. You got to keep as many guys fresh as possible. This pitch is swung on, hit up the middle. Attempt made by England, it looked like there, but he couldn't quite get to that. So that'll drop in for a base hit. Singleton up the middle, reaches base for the 4th time today.
That ball took a bounce off of that artificial surface in the infield and then just scooted it past the shortstop out into center field.
Had a good look at it, but that's a long run for England there. So a runner over at first base.
Well, you're talking about the 3 double plays for Eastmont defensively. Wenatchee would love to turn their first of the game right here.
Oh, they sure would. Get out of the inning if they can do that. Pickoff throw to first, not in time. It's a good move, though. Logan Schneider at the plate after Michael Singleton's single. Sam Klinkenberg on deck. Here's the pitch. That's swung on, hit hard just underneath the glove of Skyland. Fielded in center, throw towards second. Runner will move up to third base. Singleton goes to third on Schneider's single.
Schneider's ball, that was absolutely smoked off the bat of Schneider.
That was.
In a right center field.
Joe Skyland had a good look, but boy, he had to be lightning quick. And
he
was, and he still wasn't quite there. That's how hard that ball was hit. Couldn't quite make the play. Runners at first and third and 1 out. We're talking about that ground ball. Wenatchee's thinking about it here now. They'll go to second and flip to first if they get it. Tyler Skyland on the hill. Deals outside for ball 1 to Klinkenberg. Seven to 6 our score. 6 runs in the first inning for Eastmont. Wenatchee has scored each of the last 3 innings. Throw over to first. They scored 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th inning. The only other inning that Eastmont scored in was the 3rd inning. Mentioned it before, Wenatchee has won 14 of the last 16 games against Eastmont. Eastmont's last win, May 1st, 2018. Here's a base hit into left field. That'll score a run. A little bit more breathing room for the Wildcats. An RBI single for Klinkenberg. And that makes it now an 8-6 ball game.
Good job going with that pitch that was outside to the left-hander. Just lifted it out into shallow left field. Able to easily drive in the run and give Eastmont a little more breathing room here.
That's 3 straight singles for the Wildcats. That brings up Elijah Smiley, 2 for 3 today. Technically 2 for 2, actually. He had the sacrifice bunt. Singled for both of those hits. 2 runs driven in, both on 1 hit as he fouls it away. Wenatchee's got to buckle down here and get it out. For Eastmont, though, a great opportunity to get even more breathing room. They're back up to a 2-run lead. Again, they led by as many as 6 in this game. Long set now. Skyland deals low for a ball. Shadows creeping onto the field a little bit, but the nice thing is here is there's not too much that really interferes with the pitcher's mound. Most of these massive shadows are in the outfield. But that said, if there's something hit to right center, Eric, that could really be trouble. Batters Elijah Smiley swings and hits this one over to short. Englund will fire to first and get the out there. Didn't have a play at second, so that moves the runners up 90 feet on a ground out that goes 6-3. Second and third now with 2 out for Eastmont as they go back to the top of the order. Fifth at bat of the day coming up for Austin Popoff.
Good play by the shortstop there to keep that ball in front of him and take a little glance at the runner coming into second, knowing he didn't have a play, and just rifling that ball over to first base to get at least 1 out on the play.
Might be a pitching change coming up here for Zender and Wenatchee as he heads out toward the mound. No one else heading to the rubber yet. Skyland's still on there. Tyler Skyland came on last inning with
runners at
1
second
out.
and third here. Might be talking about giving a pass to the batter at the plate to give you more options on the base pass.
And Popoff's certainly a dangerous option, but he is the leadoff hitter, and you creep into that middle of the order if you do walk him. I wonder if it's one of those bats that's a unintentional, intentional walk.
Yeah.
Where you're just
be
pitching
careful.
away.
Yeah, be careful. Don't give him anything out over the plate. And if you happen to walk him, you're not going to really hurt us too bad.
Yeah, like it's one of those situations where as long as there's nothing to hit among the pitches. So Tyler Skyleman will stay on the hill. We'll see what happens here. Today's broadcast being brought to you by Save Mart. Shop smart, shop local, serving the Wenatchee Valley since 1962. And Earthwise Pet. If your pet had a choice, they'd choose Earthwise. Second and third for Eastmont. Tyler Skyleman deals and misses outside for ball 1. Got to give a shout out to Earthwise. They were within a walking distance from work for us.
Okay.
For the Apple Sox. And every once in a while, our GM, Allie Shank, brings in her dog to work. Bring him over to Earthwise, and he'll grab a couple treats over there on days when he needs them. So I give an extra shout out to them today. That pitch is in there for a strike. Looked like that was a little high to pop off, but it's in there. 1-1 the count. Second and third. Schneider at third. Klinkenberg at second. 1 run across already on the RBI single by Klinkenberg. Popoff at the plate is the 6th batter of the inning, and he'll take a ball. 2-1. Looking at how Wenatchee is aligned a little bit deeper in left field is Dixon. Other than that, infield pretty much back. Pitch is outside for a ball. This might be what you're talking about. 3 balls on him, Eric. It's just nothing to hit. He swung and missed at 1.
Just be careful. Don't give him anything right out over the plate.
3-1 pitch coming up. Skyleman deals. In there for a strike. Both strikes I thought were a little close, but Skyleman painting the inside edge. Full count. Second and third, 2-run lead for Eastmont. 1 run across already this inning. Wildcats hoping for more. Popoff from the right side takes outside for ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Eastmont. The way this game has gone, we're in for a treat this coming Saturday. If both of those games are going to be like this, we're going to have some really fun baseball this coming weekend. Not to add any extra excitement, of course, but should be some really fun games on Saturday. Bases loaded. First pitch is a little bit high to Connor Richards.
Should mention that if you look at the schedule and you see that our broadcast on television doesn't start till 1 o'clock. We'll have it live streamed at 11 for the first game of the doubleheader on our Facebook page and live on TV at 1 o'clock. So just a little note for you for the both morning and afternoon on Saturday at Dan White Field.
Should be a fun afternoon. Of course, coming up next Tuesday, we'll have a soccer broadcast here. Cashmere at Eastmont. 2-0 pitch is swung on, hit into center field for a base hit. Here come the runners. 1's in already. The second runner in as well. Schneider and Klinkenberg both score on a 2 RBI single by Cooper Richards. His second and third RBIs of the day. And just like that, Eastmont has a little room to breathe. All of a sudden, 3 runs across this inning.
Huge comeback for the Wildcats after Wenatchee kept pecking and pecking and pecking at their lead. Got it down to 1 run, but then 3 big runs here in this inning, trying to snap that 5-game losing streak against their Cross River rival.
This pitch misses to Hunter Rule, 8th hitter of the inning. You were Wenatchee. You were feeling pretty good coming into this 6th inning. But that has obviously changed. 3 runs across so far for Eastmont. And Skyland deals a little bit high, 2-0 out of the count to Rule. Hunter Rule is 3 for 4, a triple, 2 singles, and 1 run driven in. Also has scored a run today. Then to 6 our score. There's another base hit. And the runner will be in motion. A base hit towards center. Here comes another run. And it's Popoff scoring from second. Richards goes to second on the RBI single by Hunter Rule. And the wheels in motion once again for Eastmont. They just chip away 1 hit after another. This is like that first inning. And once again, like the first inning, they've sent at least 9 men to the plate here in the 6th.
Yeah, good hitting, just not trying to do more than what the pitcher's giving you across the plate and going with the pitch and driving it into center field for another RBI single.
Brings up Lucas Banning to the plate, takes inside for a ball. So the inning so far, 4 runs are across on 5 hits, 1 walk as well. 11-6 now is our score. Eastmont with the lead. Swing and a miss by Banning. They're a run away from matching their largest lead of the game so far. The 11 runs scored today, obviously, are their season high. They had scored 7 previously in their season opener, a 10-7 loss to Moses Lake a week ago. First and second still. Banning connects opposite field down the line. That is a fair ball. 1 run is in. Banning on his way to second. Here comes the other runner, Rule, and he will follow Richards home for another run. What a big hit for Lucas Banning. His 2nd and 3rd RBIs of the day. Tack on 2 more for Eastmont as they add to their lead in this big inning.
Just a rifle shot down the right field line, and that ball just continued to carry off the right-handed bat. And no chance for the right fielder for Wenatchee to have any shot at that one. Drives in 2 more runs, extends Eastmont's lead.
6 runs across in the inning, matching the first. And it's now a 13-6 ball game. Six runs in the first and 6 more here in the 6th for Eastmont. Runner at second is Banning. And pitches outside as the Wildcats bat around. This is their 10th batter of the inning, Murphy. He began the inning with a strikeout. There's still 2 outs in the inning. Bulk of these runs have come across with 2 outs. 5 of them have come across with 2 outs. Murphy digging in once again. 1 for 3 on the day with a double and a walk, a run scored, and an RBI. Pitches outside. The bus creeping down the right field line, a little auspicious where we're at in the game now, Eric. You know, the runs keep coming, the bus is getting a little closer. I really believe in foreshadowing. It's one of those things you say, you were looking for a sign. Here it is. That's in the inside edge for a strike.
Of course, if you're the Eastmont coaches, you're like, no, go away.
That's right.
It's bad juju.
There's a poem. I think the name it's "It Is Later Than You Think." Inside edge for another strike. Murphy batting now. Runner at second base, Lucas Banning. How about the day for Banning? 2 base hits, 3 runs driven in, 3 innings on the mound, 2 strikeouts as well. Only allowed 1 run as well. This one swung on, hit over towards short. England gobbles up, fires to first, can't be handled. Banning in motion will score. And moving up 90 more feet goes Murphy on the throwing error. And another run across. It's a 7-run frame. And the 11th man of the inning will come up in just a moment for the Wildcats.
You know, it's one of those plays where you see this a lot on these artificial surface infields where the player will throw the ball in the dirt expecting you're going to get that nice, easy hop over to first base. Well, sometimes that doesn't happen.
Strange seeing that from the Wenatchee side. This one's popped up on the infield. Skyland and England collide. They both collided, didn't call it off, and that will drop in. Oh, and an error either way. I think that hit Skyland's glove.
Yeah.
And Joe Skyland couldn't make the play, so an error on him. He and England both converge on the same spot. It drops in, and Murphy, good running. He moves up 90 feet. So the inning will continue to a 12th batter now.
I could see the second baseman. He was calling and he was waving his arms in the air, but apparently nobody else talking.
Joe England, the second baseman, Isaac England, the third baseman, colliding. Fortunately, no one hurt. This ball skips away a wild pitch. Not enough to move Murphy to home, but Singleton moves up into scoring position now. 7 runs across in the frame. So it's 14-1 right, or excuse me, 14-6 right now. 14 runs in total for Eastmont.
Well, now with runners at second and third, we could think about that possibility of a 10-run game here.
That's a great point. Get an extra base hit here, and that might be all she wrote. Swung on and fouled away just barely. Logan Schneider up to the plate. Singleton scored earlier this inning. Singleton scored back in the first as well. Strikeouts in between those two at-bats. Bats from the right side with 2 men on, both times reaching due to errors. This pitch is outside for a ball. Wenatchee was doing pretty good defensively before this point. A few times where it was a play that maybe should have been made, but only 1 error. But now they've got 3. As I mentioned, 2 of those coming in each of the last 2 at-bats. Ball is popped up behind home plate, and then will go out of play. Meanwhile, on the Eastmont side of things, they have committed 4 errors on the day. 2 of them came in the same inning. The second, they were able to get out of it with, guess what, a double play.
Well, and you can't blame either side much on maybe some quote-unquote sloppy baseball. I mean, after all, it's been since the spring of 2019 that they've played games.
Absolutely. Practice doesn't quite do the trick. This one's hit up the middle. The inning will continue. 1 run comes in. Singleton from around second will come in and score as well. 2 RBI single for Logan Schneider to plate 2 more as Eastmont tacks on. That's 3 RBIs now on the day for Schneider.
Is that 8 runs in the inning?
We don't have the scoreboard available, folks, so we're checking our own homework here.
9.
9.
Wow.
So it's 16-6 now. And thus the 10-run rule is in effect, Eric.
So if Wenatchee can't scratch across a run in the bottom half of this inning, then the game would come to an end in Eastmont's favor.
Bummer for the Panthers, considering how much they fought back. You were hoping they'd at least get the opportunity for the 7th, but boy, give credit to your opponent here. Eastmont just they saw it getting close, and they decided enough's enough.
Absolutely. A hugely deflating inning if you're the Panthers here.
Give credit to Skyland. He's fighting it out right now. This is a pitcher's worst nightmare. You know, you can't even sit on the bench to get out of it and get a break. You're being asked to just go the course.
Right.
You give credit to him for still fighting out there. Runner off of first base is Schneider. Klinkenberg at the plate. Takes a ball. He drove in a run earlier this inning.
Well, and that's frustrating for the pitcher, too, because they've had several opportunities to get out of this inning. And there's been some damage done on some good base hitting here by Eastmont, but, you know, a couple of gaffes defensively in this inning as well have not helped the cause.
Absolutely. And a walk will continue the inning and looks like mercifully end the day for Tyler Skyleman as Klinkenberg heads over to first base. We're on to 13 hitters so far. The 14th, Elijah Smiley, will be up in just a moment after this pitching change. And if we had win probability for the high school level, it would be quite something for this game.
Yeah.
6-0 after the first inning. Eastmont pretty much in control until being up only by 1 run after 5, and then they bust out with 9 runs this inning. So I would love to see the way that chart would move right now.
Would have been skyrocketed high and then
That's
down
right.
and then back up again.
That's right.
Yeah.
I talked about it pregame a little bit, the run differential in the season. It's so early, but it's something to think about. when Wenatchee has lost, it's been by larger amounts, obviously. You lose by 15 game 1 to Moses Lake, 16 in game 2, and you win by 6 runs in the first game against Skyland, but 10 runs down right now through 4 games as of the 6th inning of this game. Their run differential through 4 games, -35. That's insane to think about, but it's another one of those things you tip your cap and you say only high school baseball.
Well, yeah, and young team,
yeah,
and not a lot of experience, and sometimes experience comes at the hand of a skilled laborer on the other side.
That's a good point. It's one of those things, 4 seniors on the team, but seniors this year are not true seniors, so to speak.
No, they don't have. They lost a year of experience.
Yeah.
So they're basically, and especially you take a look at Eastmont. The freshman class is not even in the high school. They're in the junior high school. And so if you get a freshman that comes and plays up, they're not even going to the same school as their classmates. Of course, right now nobody's going to the same school, or they're going to the same school at different times of the day, and they hardly see each other, they hardly know each other, and then, oh, hey, let's go play baseball.
Yeah, while you're at it.
Yeah.
It's chaos in a lot of ways.
It is.
You think about it, it's incredible we're even out here right now.
Well, and that's just it. And that's the thing to go back to is that at least they're playing.
Exactly.
At least they're out here. At least the kids aren't wearing masks. They're enjoying the sunshine and each other's camaraderie, and they're getting a chance to play a game that for these seniors on either side, going to be the last time most of them play any baseball ever.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where you maybe don't beat yourself up too much about the lows of a season, but, boy, take advantage of those highs because you don't know how many more you have. Hit over toward third, and it'll be taken to the bag for the final out. So
that's the kind of relief pitching you want. One pitch, final out, let's get out of here.
That will do it for the inning. 9 runs come across, and now Eastmont holds a 16-6 lead over Wenatchee. On to the bottom of the 6th. Last chance now for Wenatchee, trailing by 10. We'll be right back. You're watching high school sports here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
By working together as a community, we can all play a part in promoting children's well-being and strengthening families. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Chelan Douglas CASA is dedicated to supporting families and reducing the risk of child abuse and neglect. Join us in our community-wide pinwheel project and help keep kids safe. If you suspect a child is being abused or neglected, please call 1-866-363-4276.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you're calling on 35-plus years of experience in the Wenatchee Valley. Spending extra time in your home, you may have discovered an unwanted aroma. Stinky feet, pets, who knows what. Call Dick's today about installing their Train Clean Effects electronic air cleaner or a Rheem Halo ultraviolet air purifier. Either way, the air quality in your home will be improved. Proudly servicing all of North Central Washington, call 884-6444 today.
On to the bottom of the 6th inning. Last chances for Wenatchee here. They trail 16-6 to Eastmont. They'll send 9, 1, and 2 up to the plate. They're going to have to send more than just them to keep this ball game going. Wenatchee had a chance going into the bottom of the 5th. They got 1 run across. They put 2 more on with 2 outs. Couldn't get either one across, and boy, does that sting right now after giving up 9 runs in the 6th inning. Eastmont has been spurt happy in this game. You could say 6 runs in the 1st, 9 in the 6th, 1 in the 3rd, but boy, when they have struck, they've opened the floodgates.
They've gone to the Crooked Number Ranch, I think.
That's right.
Here.
That's absolutely right. You look at the way it happened, too. A couple errors that last inning, just a lot of singles. There's only 1 extra base hit in there as well for the Wildcats.
Was it 7 of the 9 runs scored with 2 outs? Something like that?
Something pretty close to it.
It was a high number of those runs contributed after there were 2 outs in the inning.
I think 8 of the 9. If my numbers are correct on
that
here.
Very well could be.
Even better.
I feel sorry for your scorebook right now, by the way.
Yeah, we'll look at that later. I have this pride thing where I like to have a finished scorebook at some point, whether it's a year from now, whether it's tomorrow. At some point, it'll be corrected. Swing and a miss. Chase Dixon up to the plate.
Yeah, and for Wenatchee, I mean, the dugout was alive here the last, several innings in a row as they continued to come back and chew on that lead and got it down to 1 run. And now just deflation after giving up a 9 spot in the top half of this 6th.
It's so tough because, we talked about that first inning. You've got reason to feel down because you're already down 6, but then you claw back. You don't give up, and then you give up 9. And a quick flip of the switch in a lot of ways. But you give credit. It's a learning point in a lot of ways. They struck back. They were still in the ball game, and that's something they can wear on their sleeves when they face Eastmont again this weekend. 2-1 pitch. Hit over towards second base. Gobbled up by Smiley. He flips to first base, and there's one away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-3 to get things started. Tonight's broadcast being brought to you by Confluence Health. High-quality care close to home. Confluence Health is dedicated to improving our patients' health with safe, high-quality care in 12 communities. We will be back on the air again, though, this Saturday. We'll be over at Dan White Field this time, Wenatchee at Eastmont. Should be a fun one the way this game went, though. A little bit inside on the first offering to Tyler Skyland.
Did you say this is the 5th pitcher for Eastmont on the day?
5th pitcher of the day, I believe.
Okay.
No, 4th pitcher
Fourth
of the day.
pitcher.
That's
Okay.
right. Cade Kuski still out there. 2 southpaws, 2 right-handers. But just swung on and fouled away. I imagine the win would technically go to Banning with the 3 innings pitch, especially if it ends here in the 6th. Well, you've only got 7-run games anyway. I would think it's, scorer's discretion.
7-inning games, yeah.
7-inning games, that's right, yeah.
It's like major leagues in the preseason.
That's right. Single up the middle for Skyleman with 1 out here in the 6th inning.
How are your Pirates doing, by the way?
Actually, not awful as of late, which is hard to say, but they're playing actually decently. They took 2 of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers this past weekend. They split a 4-game set last week with the San Diego Padres.
Which is huge.
Yes. It may help that Tatis wasn't there.
Yeah.
But they faced some tough pitchers, and they won 2 of 4. Took 2 of 3 from the Cubs before that. They're playing all right now, which I worry about because I want another high draft pick, and I would like their pick of the litter. So this is not the year to contend. Or any signs of life, frankly. There's still not enough talent.
Usually speaking, as the fortunes of the Pirates go, so too do the Mariners. So
that's right. That's very true over the last couple decades now. Toss over to first.
Oh, you had to say that, didn't you?
I was going to say the Mariners are right about it.
So it's been 20 years since the Mariners were in the postseason.
For what it's worth, the Pirates have the record. Well, I guess until now, if the Mariners don't make it this year. There's another ball. The Pirates have the North American sports record, I believe, for the 20 years without a playoff berth. If I remember right. Here's the worst part of that, though. They lost every year. They had a losing season every year in those 20 years. The Mariners have had at least a few years where they at least made you think they were going to go on a run. They pretended to go on a run.
Yeah.
But the Pirates had a losing season every year in those 20 years. But
well, yeah. We haven't had winning seasons. I think this past year with the truncated season was the only shot that the Mariners had at above 500. It's sad, and this as being a Pirates fan, is that, hey, we're only 10 games under 500.
All of a sudden, there's something to play for. A couple of years ago, the Mariners had a winning season. 18, right? 2018?
Oh, yeah.
I think that was
yep.
They were definitely over 80. They might have had 90 wins that year. There's a ball. That was a good team they had until they fell apart.
Right.
But
which is, as a Northwest fan, you have that ever foreboding feeling that it's about to all fall apart. So the Mariners in first place right now. That's the feeling you have as a Northwest sports fan.
Hot shot over toward third. That's fouled, though. Dylan Kane at the plate with a runner at first. 1 out. 16-6 ball game. Wenatchee trails Eastmont. Eastmont scored 6 in the first, 3 in the 3rd inning, 9 in the 6th inning. Wenatchee 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Next pitch is high for a ball. Yeah, you say the Mariners are in first, and then you say, well, what's the date? What date?
Right.
What's the date?
Yes.
Then
check back with me after the All-Star break, and then we'll start talking about
there you go.
excitement.
Pitch is outside for ball 4. That'll put runners at first and second for the Panthers. Dylan Kane draws a walk, reaches base for the 3rd time today. Skyland to second, and Luke Byer up to the plate. Doubled to lead off the 5th inning and would come around to score. Drove in 2 runs with an RBI single back in the 3rd. Look at Wenatchee teams over the last few years. He takes a strike. They've really, a lot of teams do at the high school level, obviously, but Wenatchee team, they really looked to that catcher position for a lot of leadership.
Oh, yeah.
And you could say the same with Eastmont, actually, in a lot of ways, too.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's a big position of change, so to speak, this season for both teams. There's a grounder over towards second, flip to the bag for 1, on to first, not in time. So that'll put runners at first and third now for Wenatchee, 2 outs in the inning. On the fielder's choice, that goes 4-6 on the putout. So runners at first and third. Kane retired. Tyler Skyland at third. Luke Byer at first. And Jack Covenant coming up to the plate. So Wenatchee has to score here to extend the ball game at least. Got the cleanup hitter up, though. Great opportunity to do so against Cade Kuski. Southpaw deals, a little bit outside. Mentioned it, the doubleheader between these two teams coming up this Saturday, which we'll have live on our Facebook page. And then, of course, a little slight delay on your television. Fouled away, first base side and out of play.
You mentioned that bus creeping up.
It's close.
I think that almost hit the bus.
It looked like it bounced off a couple cars, too.
There's no safe place to park here, by the way.
There is absolutely not. Maybe beyond left field.
Well, yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, where our van is right now, just below us here, beyond the center field wall. I think we're okay here.
I would say, boy, I wish we could have one of the cameras zoom in on that. There is about a 1% chance that van gets hit. Maybe even less. Hot shot down the right field line. Is it fair? No, it's foul. Just barely. Couldn't see with the shadows, but just a bit foul. So the runners retreat to their bags. Byer to first. Skyland back to third. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
And by the way, we're not being disrespectful. If you're hearing the national anthem in the background, that's behind us as they get ready for soccer tonight between Wenatchee and Skyland.
That's correct. Another one down the right field line, and it goes foul. And across the street into the other park. A lot of loose balls out there they probably find after games. Unless they have someone who just goes out and grabs them immediately. Looks like they are. Eastmont, I wonder if they had a guy going out for a moment. Down low for a ball. First and third for the Panthers.
Have you seen the number, the latest numbers out on how many balls they go through in a Major League Baseball game?
I have not. I'd love to know it, though. Here's a hot shot in the left field for a base hit.
Extends the game.
That's exactly right. Literally playing for their lives. And that's a base hit by Jack Covenant to score a run. RBI single to score Tyler Skyland. Luke Byer moves up to second base, and the ball game and the inning is alive. 1 run across makes it now a 16-7 ball game.
But you figure, what, 9 innings of baseball. You've got 120 some odd pitches between the two sides.
Ball hit to the left side, fielded by the third baseman Singleton, looking to first. A wild throw. This is going to give the Panthers another run, maybe more. Bannon gets to it before anyone else can come around to score. But Byer is able to find his way home on an E5 that allows Brownlee to not just reach first, move up to second, and push Covenant to third and Byer all the way home.
Looked like there may have been a little indecision about what he wanted to do and where he wanted to go with that baseball. And tried to fire over to first base after that decision was finally made and then just threw it wide.
And by the time he did decide to go to first, it probably wasn't going to get him.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But at that point, you might as well just eat it. But that's something, pitch outside for ball, that's something I think as a high school, that's a pride thing. You want to try it.
When it's the final out.
Absolutely. There's a strike, 1-1 the count. It's Isaac England up to the plate, the shortstop. It's a good point. You got a chance to get out of the inning, so you really want to try it, even if it's a slim opportunity. 2-1 the count now. There is action in the Eastmont bullpen. Down the first base line. Right-hander loosening. Of course, we don't know if Wenatchee has anyone tossing. Foul away, first base side.
Is their bullpen back behind the old restroom over there, or is it down the right or left field line?
I thought it was in.
Oh, inside the
building,
their
at their
new
base side.
their new facility.
I thought that's what I was told a couple years ago, that it was inside there. But either way, no one loosening that is visible on the Wenatchee side. This pitch misses as well. But again, it might be a case where the relief pitcher is perhaps on the field for Wenatchee, might be on the base paths.
Very well could be.
Wenatchee has used 4 pitchers today. Eastmont has also used 4. Here's a grounder up the middle. Might be a tough play. Good job getting to that by Popoff. He flips to first in time for the final out. Wenatchee gets 2 more to extend the ball game. As we move on to the 7th inning, it's now 16-8 with Eastmont leading. We'll be right back. You're watching high school baseball here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
Doghouse Motorsports just won Best Motorsports Store for the 7th year in a row. Is it the great facility? Is it the fantastic products? Or is it?
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Tabor. I'm Mike.
And I'm Glenn.
Hi, I'm Todd.
I'm Jeff.
And this is the Doghouse Service Team.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Kathy.
Come on in and experience the doghouse.
Are you in the doghouse?
At Earthwise Pet, we take an all-natural approach to wellness and nutrition. Our professional certified groomers were trained by the best in the Pacific Northwest. Our staff here at Earthwise Pet are all certified in pet nutrition. We are here to help you select the perfect food, supplement, and anything else you may need to make sure your pet is living its best and most healthy life. Earthwise Pet, Nutrition Center and Wellness Spa. Online or in the store, we are here for you.
On to the top of the 7th inning here now as Austin Popoff leads things off for the Eastmont Wildcats. Got a 16-8 ball game. 9 runs came across in the top of the 6th inning for Eastmont. Looked like they were going to 10-run rule Wenatchee. The Panthers struck back with 2 more in the bottom half. Joe Skyland on. Gets a ground ball over towards second. Gobbled up, flipped to first. And there's 1 away here in the 7th inning. Ground out goes 4-3 on the putout. And that'll bring up Cooper Richards just a moment here. So assuming our final score is similar to what it is right now, where Eastmont leads, this will put Wenatchee at 1-3 on the season and Eastmont at 3-1 ahead of their doubleheader coming up this Saturday. First game at 11 a.m. Second one shortly to follow. Breaking ball inside from Joe Skyleman, misses. Tyler tossed before him, his brother, and gave up all 9 runs that scored last inning. Joe came on and got the final batter to ground out to third on the first pitch of the at-bat. That was Elijah Smiley. Now the top of the order, the second batter of the lineup for Eastmont. Richards takes a ball.
Hit him.
Did it? No, I just looked away from him. Just barely clipped him, it looked like. So Cooper Richards heads over to first base. And Hunter Rule will step up to the plate. Busy day for Rule. 3 singles, a triple, reached on a fielder's choice. So he has touched the bag in every plate appearance today. Takes inside for ball 1. Defensively for Wenatchee, 3 errors committed today. 2 of them came last inning. There's a pitch in the dirt. Couldn't be found by Byer. Didn't see where it was, and the runner moves up on the pass ball. So Richards goes to second base. Hunter Rule with a chance to drive in his 3rd run of the day. Connects on this one, a high pop-up. This will stay in the infield. Moving in a little bit and making the catch is the second baseman, England. He has jumped between second and shortstop a couple times today. Grabs that one for the second out, though. Ground out by Popoff to start the inning. Richards hit by a pitch. Rule pops out to second. Wenatchee has juggled their defense a lot today. England has played second on the mound, shortstop, back to second. Started on the mound, I should say, then went to second, then went to short, now back at second. Ball one to Lucas Banning. 3 runs driven in on a couple of hits. He's 2 for 5 today, a double and a single. Joe Skyland misses again, 2-0 to him. On the hill, Banning looks like he'd be in line for the win. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, 1 run it was earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. The count. Skyland, the right-hander, deals inside just a little bit, so it's 3-0 to Lucas Banning. If Eastmont wins here today, it's going to be their first win against Wenatchee since May 1st of 2018. Wildcats have lost 14 of the last 16 games between these two squads. Inside for ball 4, the inning will continue. As Banning heads over to first base. Runners at first and second now. Look at last inning, those 9 hits, the 9 runs that came across. 7 hits, though. As there were the 2 errors committed by the Wenatchee defense. They also walked a couple of hitters. Ball hit toward third, bobbled for a moment, but scampering over to third and getting the force there is the third baseman, Christensen. And that will retire the side. 2 men reach on a walk and a hit by pitch, but that is all for the Wildcats in the 7th. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Our score, it's Wenatchee trailing Eastmont 16-8. The Wildcats trying to wrap up their 3rd win of the season. We'll be right back in just a moment. You're watching the NCWLIFE Channel.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
We apologize. We had some technical difficulties in the top of the 7th inning. We go to the bottom half now. Last chance for Wenatchee. It's a 16-8 ball game in that top of the 7th inning. Nothing going for Eastmont as Austin Popoff grounded. A hit by pitch of Cooper Richards put him at first, moved to second on a pass ball. Pop out to second by Hunter Rule. Lucas Banning was walked on 4 pitches, but then Joe Murphy grounded out to third to end the frame. We go to the bottom of the 7th, as I mentioned. A 16-8 ball game, and it's certainly a tall task for Wenatchee. They have scored each of the last 4 innings. Eastmont's only scored in 3 frames today, but boy, when they've scored, has it been big. 6 runs in the 1st inning, 1 in the 3rd, and then 9 in the 6th inning. This is a team who came into today having scored at most 7 runs across their first 3 games, which is still very impressive anytime you're scoring over 5 runs, which they've done through all 3 games, but boy, they have let the floodgates open up today. And they have gone to work. Great work today from the Wildcats with the bats, and they're sure hoping they can continue that this coming weekend when they face Wenatchee for a couple, this time over at Dan White Field. Joe Skyland will lead things off for Wenatchee. He's played second, right field, second again, and he's pitched. Pitch up and in that clipped him. He'll head over to first base. Hit by pitch to start things off. Skyland didn't like that. Looks like he looked back at the mound for just a moment there. He'll head over to first base, though. I'll bring up Connor Christensen, the third baseman, in just a moment. Quick chat on the mound. Looks like Quinn McVeigh will actually come up, pinch hitting in his place as announced. McVeigh, the sophomore, wearing number 19, coming on in place of Christensen. First pitch to him, way inside for ball one. Sun is setting here in the Wenatchee Valley. The entire field covered in shade right now. As McVeigh, the sophomore, digs back in from the right side, takes outside for a ball. Skyland's first move, even though that ball went away from Schneider, the catcher's. Skyland's first move was back to first base, so he doesn't move up on the play. 2-0 to McVeigh. This pitch is in there for a called strike. 16-8, Eastmont leads here in the bottom of the seventh. Last chance for the Panthers. They bat with a runner at first base, no outs. McVeigh at the plate, Chase Dixon on deck. There's the pitch. Little bit low, gets away. 3 balls and 1 strike to count. Wenatchee in danger of falling to 1-3 on the season. Obviously a shorter spring schedule for everyone at the Washington High School state level. There's a strike to push the count full. It's worth noting, though, Wenatchee has won at least 15 games in 5 straight seasons. Got to be tough if they can't get themselves out of the hole they're in early in this season. If you're Eastmont, you've got a chance to really bury them with a couple games this weekend. Of course, very hard to do. Balk is called. That'll move the runner up. So they'll do the pitch again in just a moment. Skyland advancing 90 feet into scoring position. Quinn McVeigh still at the plate in a full count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And there's 1 away here in the 7th. Yeah, but 15 wins in 5 straight seasons. Pretty impressive for Jeff Zender's squad. Looks like Joe Dory coming on in place of Chase Dixon here. First at bat of the day for him. He takes strike 1. Dory coming on here in the 7th inning for Chase Dixon, who finishes the day 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Right-hander kicks and deals a little bit high for a ball. 1-1 the count. And these two teams will do it again this Saturday over at Dan White Field in East Wenatchee. Wonder if the total runs from those 2 games, there's a ball. I wonder if the 2 runs from those 2 games will even equal the offensive output of this one. We're sitting at 16-8 right now. Might be a chance for more with Wenatchee batting with a runner over at second base. 1 out. Dory takes another strike. Top of the order coming up after him. Skyland, Kane, and Byer, should we get to that point. Kick and the pitch, swung on, hit over to first. Banning can handle this himself, and he'll step on the bag for the out. Big round of third, but going back to the bag is Skyland. Ground out to first base unassisted. puts Wenatchee down to its final out. Tyler Skyleman will step up to the plate. Skyleman pitched earlier in this game. On the mound for all 9 of those runs to come across in the 6th inning. Decent work before that, though. Takes inside for ball 1. Good work in the 5th inning where he got the final 2 outs of that frame, but then really tough 6th inning for Tyler Skyleman on the mound. At the plate right now, though, runner at third base and 2 outs here in the 7th. Takes a ball. Wenatchee had this ball game at a 1-run deficit going into the 6th inning. There's a ball. They had played all 6 of their runs to that point through the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings. They were down 7-6 going into the top of the 6th inning. Gave up 9 runs, though. Scored 2 more in the bottom half. See if they've got any fighting left here. There's a ball just off the plate. Runner off of third base right now is Joe Skyleman. Walked, drew a balk, a strikeout after him, and then a ground out pushed him to third. Last hope in the game for the Panthers, and they're down to their last strike now. So Skyleman at the plate. If the inning continues, Dylan Kane will come up. Here's the pitch. Inside for ball 4. The payoff pitch misses, and Tyler Skyleman trots over to first base with a walk to extend the inning. 2 walks in the inning issued to put runners at first and third for the Panthers. So that'll be Dylan Kane coming up to the plate now. Singled in the 1st inning, reached on a fielder's choice, stole a bag, and scored in the 3rd. Grounded out back to the pitcher the next inning, the 4th. So he takes ball 1. And then he walked and was stranded, was eliminated on a fielder's choice in the 6th inning. Mentioned the shade covering the field right now. The light's not on here, though, at Rec Park as this ball gets away. A pass ball will move Tyler Skyleman to second base. Joe Skyleman stays put at third. But no lights on right now. You can see Badger Mountain pretty well covered up on the other side of the river, East Wenatchee side. Breeze has picked up ever so slightly. Swing and a miss. So Kane reaching base 3 times today, hoping to give Luke Byer a chance to hit. He has driven in a couple with a few base hits. He's on deck right now. The pitch. Down low for another ball. Fifth batter of the inning so far. Both Skyleman brothers on the base paths. The pitch. Swung on. Hot shot over towards short. Underneath the glove of Popoff. That'll go into the outfield. And both Skylemans will come around to score. A 2 RBI single by Dylan Kane. And that makes it now a 16-10 ball game. So a 2 RBI single by Kane extends the day for Wenatchee. Both runs come across to score with 2 outs here. Head on to the number 3 hitter, Luke Byer. Runner at first, 2 outs, 16-10 our score. Eastmont still in control. Byer from the left side takes strike 1. Wonder if Kane will try and take off to swipe a bag here. Definitely within the realm of possibility and might be interested in that given the score, and I doubt Eastmont would throw at him. Takes a big lead, takes way outside, but a nice job by Schneider to keep that from going to the backstop. It is a wooden backstop. You can probably tell from the screen. It is a wooden backstop behind home plate, but sometimes it depends on the type of backstop, whether or not that would really bounce far or not. an older backstop, so it might have a little spring to it. Big cut and a miss by Byer ahead of that off-speed delivery. One ball and 2 strikes on the left-handed hitting catcher. Eastmont looking to put Wenatchee away. The pitch in there for called strike 3. And that will do it here from Recreation Park. It's a 16-10 victory for Eastmont over Wenatchee. It is the first win by Eastmont since May 1st, 2018. Normally it would only be a couple seasons in between, but certainly not this year with a gap last year. A nice win for the Wildcats. These two teams will do it again this coming weekend as they tip their caps to each other. They'll meet again coming up this Saturday in a doubleheader over at Dan White Field. We'll be back in a moment to wrap things up. You're watching high school baseball here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition.
Hi, I'm Shauna Larson. I'm the designated broker here at Laura Mounter Real Estate. We are a locally owned firm, and we've worked hard to earn our reputation of always doing business the right way. Laura Mounter Real Estate is continually investing in the best technologies and highest quality marketing. For these reasons, our community has voted us the world's best real estate office for the past 5 years. If you have real estate needs, let a Laura Mounter Real Estate agent show you the difference.
Highlander Golf Course is
win over Wenatchee this afternoon with a 16-10 triumph. It was a little offense early and often for the Wildcats, scoring 6 runs in the first inning and then tacking on 9 more in the 6th inning. In between that, not a lot offensively for them, but obviously those big frames were enough for them. Wenatchee scored, interestingly enough, in each of the final 5 innings, but obviously it was not enough here to pick up the win. The Wildcats improved to 3-1 on the season. Meanwhile, the Panthers fall to 1-3, and these two teams will do it again at 11 a.m. this Saturday over at Dan White Field in East Wenatchee, as they'll look to see if Eastmont can add on to their winning record, or if Wenatchee can try to claw a little bit back to 500. They would need to sweep the doubleheader to do exactly that. So a couple great performances all around for Eastmont. Lucas Banning will get the win on the mound. 3 innings. He allowed 1 run, 3 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and at the plate drove in 3 and reached base 3 times as well. Got to talk about some of the other great work. Hunter Rule reaching base with 4 hits, drove in 2 runs as well, scored 2 runs as well. Great work all around, though, from the Eastmont Wildcats offense. You could pretty much pick any guy and see how he was a contributor here today. So that does it for our coverage. A special thanks to everyone on our production team helping us out. In the studio, Malcolm Whitehall. On our cameras, Matthew Baxter and Levi Day. And our line producer, of course, Eric Granstrom, also wearing a couple hats at once and serving a little color commentator as well. This is Joel Norman signing off, saying we'll talk to you this Saturday when Wenatchee takes on Eastmont once again, but this time from East Wenatchee 4-2. Thanks for watching today's broadcast of high school baseball here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
The shot, and beautiful!
Thanks for watching high school sports on your home for local high school sports, the NCWLIFE Channel. Today's broadcast was brought to you by August Edge Real Estate, Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, Confluence Health, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, Doghouse Motorsports, Global Car Care, the Highlander Golf Course and Grill, JDSA Law, Laura Mounter Real Estate, Les Schwab Tires, One Way Construction, Pat Armstrong Ford Lincoln, Save Mart, Sangster Motors, Wenatchee Power Sports, Earthwise Pet, and Chelan Douglas Casa. Stay with us all year long for high school sports on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE Channel. We now return to regular programming already in progress.